Infinite projection room begins with the projection of Ultron's world destruction. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 951, Ant-Man's Food Reserve. Janitor, that is a very complicated judgment process, and the final standard is only one, that is, whether the development of this planet can have a beneficial and positive effect on the entire universe. Bruce Wayne, in other words, the development history of a certain planet is full of wars. For the sake of profit, they can kill their own kind without hesitation, destroy the planet's ecology, and have endless greed for resources. If they are allowed to embark on interstellar civilization, they are very likely to invade other civilizations. Bruce Wayne, but in this civilization, there are also kind people who are willing to sacrifice themselves for others, willing to spend their lives to protect the planet's ecology, and willing to expose the darkness at the cost of their lives. Bruce Wayne, if it is such a civilization, then what is the result according to the standards of the devourer of planets? All the people on Earth looked at Janitor with bated breath. What civilization on a certain planet? This is clearly the civilization of Earth. Janitor, destruction. Janitor said the answer they least wanted to hear. Janitor, I once asked those big iron blocks of the Celestials why they, as life disseminators and judges of the universe, only sentenced life and death, and could not give the life on the planet a chance to improve. Janitor, I also asked Aunt Stardust, Uncle Flame Emperor, Uncle Tyrant, and Silver Shadow. Janitor, the answers they gave were surprisingly consistent. Janitor, once life goes down the wrong path, the difficulty and time required for modification are unknown. Erasing and restarting is the most efficient option. Ace, but life is complicated. Janitor, I know, but they think from a different perspective than us. The Celestials, my father, are responsible for whether the operation of the entire universe is balanced and whether the development is normal. Janitor, I know, it may not sound good, but compared with the entire universe, let alone a certain life, even a planet or a starfield is too small. Arceus, you are very distressed. Janitor, Mr. Arceus, I don't know if I can address you this way. Excuse me, are the mistakes in the development of life really uncorrectable? Is restarting really the best option? Arceus, Janitor, I can answer you with certainty about the answer to the first question. The mistakes in the development of life can be corrected, perhaps by one's own awakening, or perhaps by a sudden awakening. Life is a magical existence. Even the smallest life has infinite possibilities, just like the timeline. Although the source and the end point are fixed, the number of timelines that branch out in the middle is huge and close to infinite. Arceus, as for the second question, you have already said the answer to this question. I said it? Janitor was puzzled. I was clearly asking a question. Arceus, yes, you said it. You said that from their perspective, they are responsible for whether the operation of the entire universe is balanced and whether the development is normal. Dr. Manhattan, this is Arceus' answer. This is an unsolvable question. Janitor, even you can't answer this question? Arceus, I can answer, but this question is essentially unsolvable. Because different perspectives on things will only lead to different answers. Arceus, but if you ask me from the macroscopic perspective of the entire universe, restarting is the most efficient option. Janitor, do you think so too? Arceus, this is the answer I got from the perspective of your father in the Celestials. Janitor, the total amount of the universe is constant. The energy from the destruction of those lives will become the next generation of life, and life itself has uncertainty and possibility. Arceus, I can lead a world to the timeline I need, so that the development of this world is no different from what I need, but I don't know if those Celestials have such ability. Arceus, there is a world that meets the needs of everyone, and there are only 2 time nodes that can do this. Arceus, then it is the beginning of creation and the great extinction. Arceus, at the beginning, I wanted to create a world, my wish was fulfilled, and then the world appeared. Arceus, when the great silence comes, everything will come to an end, the timeline will close, and I will no longer exist. Arceus, at that moment, I had no thoughts, so naturally I would not have any regrets. Obviously, this answer did not satisfy Janitor, and she was even more worried. The video continues. The zombies saw this situation, and they were ecstatic and just wanted to jump up and pray frantically. But they did not expect that the other party would disappear in an instant under their noses, and the whole process was in an instant. Ordinary zombies did not know what was going on at all, and thought it was an illusion. But this made the zombie superheroes anxious, and the flying heroes also flew up to chase the other party, trying to search for the other party's destination. However, this was stopped by other zombies, who were worried that they would eat alone. What if the other party was found by someone alone and eaten alone? How hateful would that be? The disappointed zombie superheroes planned to continue looking for the remaining survivors on the earth. Only in this way can the pain of hunger be prevented, controlling the entire brain. The zombie captain's proposal was half approved by the zombies. Those who approved were going to find food to satisfy their hunger, while those who disagreed were going to find food together. Almost all the survivors were dead now. God knows how many humans are left on Earth except for the guy who just appeared. How can 1 or 2 humans be enough for so many zombies? So the zombies dispersed in 2s and 3s to find food individually. Ant-Man was among them. His figure sneaking away alone was discovered by several zombies, but everyone had the same idea, so no zombies chased him. Finding food, not bad. When the zombie Ant-Man was full just now, he remembered that he actually had a reserve of food, but there was too much food outside before, and then he was controlled by hunger, so he forgot the fact that he had a reserve of food. Now, the zombie Ant-Man decided to go back and see if his reserve of food was still in the warehouse while he was still sane. Reserve of food. It's Chala. Chapter 952. Ant-Man. Oh, Hank Pym. Everyone in the theater thought of the time when Ant-Man knocked out Black Panther Chala while he still had a bit of sanity and then locked him up in a room full of ants. Zombie Ant-Man now felt a sense of regret in his heart. He should have stored more food reserves and prepared 2 more warehouses. Magneto had previously set off a magnetic storm that affected most of the city. It was hard to say whether his laboratory was affected. Aha! Zombie Ant-Man pushed open the door of the laboratory, and then he saw a scene that surprised him. Black Panther was still alive, and as a human. Because of the mysterious power of the heart-shaped grass, under the influence of long-term dehydration and hunger and a large amount of anesthetics, Black Panther fell into a state similar to hibernation. Not only did he not die, he could also hold on for a while. But this was not a good thing for Black Panther. Zombie Ant-Man realized that he could not finish the delicious meal in front of him at once. This was very bad for his current situation. In order to survive longer, he had to make an emergency plan. So, he took out the saw for sawing trees and directly cut off the right leg of Black Panther. He was so hungry that he didn't want to miss the opportunity to enjoy the food. Zombie Ant-Man was now planning to enjoy the food, while the other zombie heroes were not noticing. The next second Zombie Wasp suddenly rushed in. "You bastard who eats alone." Zombie Wasp pointed at her husband and ate alone. This was simply too much. And the next second Zombie Wasp, who was about to go up to share a piece of the pie, was greeted by a slap from Zombie Ant-Man. This slap directly slapped her to the ground and she couldn't get up for a long time. Zombie Ant-Man roared angrily. "You dare to take my food away, damn thing. You dare to hit me, idiot. What time do you think it is now? The human society of the past? Now it's the world of zombies." When the zombie Ant-Man said this, there was still some blood and flesh from the Black Panther's thigh in his mouth. When he was talking, the smell of blood and flesh had drifted into the nose of the zombie wasp. Stimulated by the smell of blood and flesh, the zombie wasp once again returned to the previous hungry and crazy mode. But she couldn't beat the zombie Ant-Man, so she started to threaten. "Feed me. Otherwise, I will let everyone know that you are a bastard who eats alone. Then you will only end up being torn to pieces. Then you will die." When the exasperated zombie Ant-Man heard this, he had completely lost his mind. Now whoever dares to snatch his food will be killed. One point that zombie wasp predicted was correct. That is, her evolution level was far inferior to that of zombie Ant-Man. With just one move, zombie Ant-Man directly grabbed zombie wasp and stuffed her into his mouth, biting her hard. Then, blood spilled everywhere. He didn't feel anything wrong, just felt seriously uncomfortable. Zombie Ant-Man began to vomit, yes, because of nausea, but not because he ate his wife, but because his wife's meat was too unpalatable. Before swallowing the meat in his mouth, Zombie Ant-Man kept pounding his stomach until he vomited the meat. Only in this way did he feel a little better. Damn guy, I should have gotten rid of you earlier, so as not to affect my mood. After getting rid of his wife, Zombie Ant-Man felt a little sorry that he had eaten half of his thigh. At this time, Black Panther seemed to be awakened by the pain in his thigh, and his body began to move. He seemed to have gradually become conscious just now, and heard the sounds around him, and knew what was happening. The terrified Black Panther saw all this happen, and he also realized that he had no way to escape. Black Panther was now tied tightly to the operating table, one of his thighs was sawed off, and most importantly, long-term dehydration and hunger left him without any strength. Looking at the zombie Ant-Man who wanted to saw off the other thigh from his body, Black Panther T'Challa, the king of Wakanda, the once wise king, was also frightened at this moment. This is not a fear that humans can bear. Did you hear the name of Ant-Man again? Pym. It seems to be this name. Tony closed his eyes and thought quickly. He felt that he must have heard of this name. Pym. Enlarge and shrink. Pym technology. Hank Pym. Tony quickly locked the identity of the other party. Captain America. Tony, is there such a person in our universe? Tony Stark. Hank Pym, a scientist, did not expect that in another universe this old man became a superhero. Oh, now he is a super zombie. Captain America. What about him? Tony Stark. I don't have much friendship with that old guy. I don't know what kind of epilepsy that old guy has. When I met him before, he gave me a stinky face the whole time. Captain America. Tony, are you really sure it's not your problem? Tony Stark. Of course not. How can you doubt me instead of thinking that the old guy's problem? Captain America. Tony, do you need me to review your previous black material for you? Tony Stark. That's because my personality charm is not something that ordinary people can bear. Captain America. The video continues. Avengers Tower. The zombie heroes return to the tower. The previous battlefield is not here. The Avengers Tower is still well preserved. They had a good meal, but someone did not go to the previous battle. That is Iron Man. Can your brains, which have become rotten and smelly due to years of disuse without turning into zombies, become smarter after turning into zombies? The smell in your heads is exactly the same as the temperature of rotten eggs and fish intestines placed in a plastic bag and exposed to the scorching sun for 3 days and 3 nights in summer. Can it help you get along with any good ideas? Just you? You idiots still want to deceive me with your words. After turning into a zombie, will my level be the same as yours? Can I not see these things? If I become one of you idiots, I would rather starve to death. Hulk will not be angry, only when he is full, and he will turn back into Banner. In his current state, do you think I will still believe what you say? And I'm not blind. Such a huge torrent of steel and that level of magnetic field chaos even affected me. All electronic equipment is collectively scrapped. Besides, there is still undigested human flesh flowing out of the big hole in Banner's belly. Just based on this situation, anyone who is not blind can see what happened. You make me very angry, and I'm particularly annoyed now. I haven't eaten meat for a day. Is this how you treat me? And why didn't Pym and Jenny come back with you? Where did they go? Can they still 20th after becoming zombies? My SZQ is rotten. How can he still do it? Where did the young couple hide? Are they trying to eat alone? These two guys are very smart, and they always feel that something is wrong. Faced with a zombie Iron Man who was furious and scolded them, the other zombies could only lower their heads and take the scolding. The zombie captain came out at this time and revealed the news he knew. Chapter 953, The Fall of Silver Shadow. As for zombie Iron Man, the only remaining intelligent zombie after Mr. Fantastic's disappearance, and their hope to go to other planets or other universes, the zombie captain could only answer honestly. Jenny flew away with a piece of Magneto's meat in her mouth. Because Ant-Man Pym said that he wanted to share the piece of meat with her, Pym went to find him. Moreover, the one who suffered the most serious loss in our camp is Hawkeye. The opponent's strength can be regarded as the top type. Magneto killed him with my shield. However, we haven't picked up his head to confirm whether he is dead or not. When Zombie Iron Man heard this, he seemed to be thinking about this matter. However, whether the intact brain they mentioned can revive zombies remains to be examined. Pay attention, we don't know how the first zombie came out, and everything is still a mystery. If things continue like this, I'm afraid that hundreds of zombie heroes will be reduced to cannibalism. By then, no one can escape the fate of being terminated. This is a real tragedy. Although it tastes very bad, it's better than being hungry. This is a question of the stomach determining our brain. TSK, I'm the first genius on earth, but I have fallen to the point of competing with you idiots for food. Captain America scratched his ears, and the output of the zombie Iron Man made his scalp tingle. Could it be that Tony's mouth cannon has been engraved into his DNA? Even becoming a zombie can't change it. Image continues. Just when the zombie heroes were feeling extremely distressed about food and future food, a silver light flashed across the sky, and the Silver Surfer was back. The Silver Surfer came here to deliver a message. That is, his master, the Devourer of Planets, is coming soon. Silver Surfer looked at the zombie heroes below and felt relieved. In the past, when he came to a planet to announce the end of the planet, he would either use projection notification or fly to every gathering place of large life forms to announce it. This time, he flew around and found that there were only 2 large life forms living on the planet, so he didn't have to work hard. The Earth is about to be swallowed and destroyed. All this will end, and everything will eventually wither. But don't be sad. Don't be sad. You won't really die. The energy in the universe is constant. My master, the Devourer of Planets. After he eats you and your planet, the energy will be fed back to the universe, and then you will be reborn in another form. Silver Surfer spoke very quickly. Tens of millions of years of work made him very familiar with this set of rhetoric. I don't care what your mood is. Anyway, I can go home after I finish talking. The zombie heroes were at a loss and didn't know what Silver Surfer was talking about. They are now only concerned about one issue, whether they can eat fresh meat. So for this matter, the zombie heroes' inner thoughts are very unified. They rushed forward one after another, showing an expression of hunger and thirst on their faces, scrambling to eat a bite of the fat meat that was delivered to their door. Haha, I didn't expect to meet a madman this time. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he took the initiative to deliver himself to my door. Tony, now, you won't continue to be furious, right? Let's enjoy the food together this time. This belongs to me. Thor, you guys, get out of here. All the previous food has been eaten up by you. The meat of this guy must be not delicious. Let me deal with it. Don't keep fighting for it. The guy he mentioned will probably come and become our rations. I don't know if he can call more guys so that we can have a constant buffet. When the zombie heroes were about to pounce, Silver Surfer threw out an energy beam and killed all the zombies who rushed to the front. He had encountered this kind of thing many times. In the first 1 or 2,000 years, he would try to persuade those lives, but later he was too lazy to say it. It was meaningless. The source of the energy speed of light is cosmic energy, the most powerful energy in this universe. Yes, the most powerful energy. Because neither the power of chaos nor the power of the phoenix is the energy of this universe. Where the energy beam swept, the zombie Iron Man was also among them, and he was split in 2 by the energy beam. However, the zombie Iron Man still fell in front of Yinhua. After looking at this delicious body so close, his saliva flowed down. He didn't expect it to be so smooth this time. The zombie Iron Man broke away and bit Yinhua impatiently, but the other part his body was too hard. He couldn't taste it even after his teeth were broken. Silver Surfer. Janitor looked at the Silver Surfer on the screen with great anxiety. She usually had some complaints about him because of his work, but now seeing the Silver Surfer who took care of her and sacrificed his life for her trapped in the siege, Janitor couldn't help but panic. Even though this was not the Silver Surfer in their world. The video continues. The Silver Surfer waved his hand and threw the zombie Iron Man who was biting him from the sky. More zombie heroes rushed towards the Silver Surfer, but they were hit by the Silver Surfer's attack and their bodies were full of holes. However, at this time, the zombie Thor found the right time to appear behind the opponent, and a punch fell, which actually led to countless lightning, and instantly paralyzed the opponent. This punch directly made Silver Slide fall off the Silver Surfer board. The equally hungry zombie Wolverine wanted to use his claws to cut the opponent's body, so that the opponent would completely lose the ability to move in life. However, after becoming a zombie, he not only lost the ability to heal, but even his claws were as fragile as ceramic. He cut off his injured arm, and countless liquid spilled out instantly. Since it can't be used, there's no point in keeping this claw. Just when the zombie heroes were dealing with Yinslip, the zombie Ant-Man suddenly appeared from the alley. He hid in the dark and watched everything happening in front of him, revealing a relieved smile. Fight. Kill. He now had to wait until Yinslip fell before snatching food. He didn't want to be beaten with holes. In this case, the food consumption alone would be very huge. And if he ate it, it might come out, and he would still be extremely hungry. Chapter 954. Come on, Galactus. Janitor's face was pale. Looking at the Silver Surfer falling from the Silver Surfer, Janitor already knew his fate. Silver Surfer's skills were almost all on the Silver Surfer. Without the Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer was just a weakened version of a Kryptonian soldier. The power of a Kryptonian soldier was enough to deal with many ordinary lives, but it was far from enough for a group of crazy evolved zombies. The video continues. Hulk. Hungry. The gray-green beast broke through the cage again, driven by hunger, because he was so hungry that he couldn't control himself at all. Just when the hungry and thin zombie Luke Cage hugged the Silver Surfer, the zombie Hulk suddenly appeared at this time and snatched the Silver Surfer and locked his neck tightly. The angry zombie Hulk swallowed the Silver Surfer's head in one gulp, and the other zombie heroes rushed up and began to share the food. Now they felt unusually happy. They hadn't had such an experience for a long time. The zombie Iron Man, who only had half of his body left, grabbed the zombie Spider-Man who wanted to eat. Hey, I want to eat a few bites, can you help me? For the sake of our previous friendship. The zombie Iron Man let out a miserable wail. Now that he only had half of his body left, he was even more humble than a dog. The situation of the zombie Spider-Man was not much better than his. The zombie Spider-Man had a limp in one leg, and without spider silk in his body, he could only use his own blood vessels to hurry on. No, 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 I'll help you. You two pieces of trash can't even walk, and you still want to eat? The zombie Ant-Man, who had been waiting for a long time, had turned into a giant and squeezed them into a ball with his huge palm. But he didn't want to kill the two zombies, because the zombie Ant-Man knew that these two were intelligent zombies, and he still needed them to develop various devices. Zombie Ant-Man relied on his strong body after he became giant and directly grabbed a handful of meat and shared it with zombie Iron Man and zombie Spider-Man. Of course, he must have kept some for himself. Give us back our stuff. The zombies roared, but zombie Ant-Man used pine particles to become a huge giant. Zombie Hulk, who could threaten zombie Ant-Man, was satisfied with the pleasure of eating meat at the moment and didn't care about zombie Ant-Man at all. You rubbish. I just saved him, but you didn't protect him at all, and all of it was taken away. Nothing was left for me. What's the use of you? Stop talking nonsense. If it were you, you wouldn't leave it for us. What kind of justice are you showing here? Don't you see clearly what kind of guy you are? The zombie captain pointed his finger at zombie Luke Cage. He just wanted to condemn the place. But he didn't expect that a beam of light shot out from his hand and directly smashed Luke Cage's head. The zombie captain didn't expect that his body would actually undergo some kind of change. He had never experienced this before when he ate other superheroes. Perhaps because the accumulated energy was not enough, but now it is not only him. Even many zombie superheroes who ate part of the body of the Silver Surfer have undergone some kind of evolution. This really corresponds to an old saying in the East: what you eat will replenish what you eat. Can the transmission of cosmic energy be done in this way? The video continues. Bang. Black Panther grabbed an iron rod as a crutch and fled from the zombie Ant-Man's laboratory step by step. And in his hand, he was holding the head of a zombie wasp who wanted to eat his flesh. Black Panther didn't know the situation of the zombies yet, and at this moment he hoped to restore the zombies' sanity and provide more useful information. Because new life appeared on the earth again, the zombie virus continued to control the zombies' brains and began to secrete hunger hormones, forcing a group of zombies to continue to look for new life. But apart from the zombie Ant-Man, how could they know that there was a half-dead Black Panther not far away? And the zombie Ant-Man was reluctant to eat up the Black Panther all at once. So he had an idea. If the zombie virus is burned, will it change its taste? A beam of energy penetrated the body of the zombie Thor, and then the zombie Ant-Man stepped forward and grabbed the charred body of the zombie Thor and stuffed it into his mouth. Damn it. Zombies are still zombies. Even if they are burnt, they are still disgusting, and there is no difference from the previous feeling. It's really disgusting. There is nothing worse than this disgusting food. It's a waste of effort if it's not delicious at all. It seems that, no matter how the dead are cooked, they still taste extremely disgusting. Next time, I won't focus on this matter. I should find the only survivor, even if the hope is very slim. Silver Surfer made the zombie heroes who got a share of the pie become more powerful, and the zombie Iron Man could even control only half of his body to take off. At this moment, the real terror came. Because, with the appearance of Silver Slide, a person, or a god, will inevitably come here. Gallon, the devourer of planets. Although I'm very hungry now, I still want to ask, where is my servant Silver Surfer? Gallon asked the zombies with hunger, and the zombies were all stunned when they saw the arrival of Galactus. How long will it take to eat such a big piece of meat? Gallon discovered the changes below and immediately became furious. He couldn't imagine that these humble races dared to make such provocative words to him, especially since his most trusted servant was dead now. Gallon vented his anger. Although he was starving all day long, he was still one of the 5 gods of creation. What? You said you haven't eaten enough. You are still very hungry, right? Cosmic energy swept across the earth. The zombies with some cosmic energy were not Galactus opponents at all. Come on, Dad. Kill them. Janitor could no longer look directly at this crazy and absurd world. At this moment, she actually understood the mission of the Devourer of Worlds very well. Indeed, as long as one is willing to work hard, there will always be hope for change. However, what the Celestials said does make sense. Instead of paying a huge price to change things on this crazy planet, it would be faster to just restart. Chapter 955. Oh, the invincible Devourer has fallen. The video continues. A group of zombies fled in the rage of Galactus. They came to Ant-Man's laboratory for refuge. Zombie Ant-Man didn't want them to come in, but he soon discovered a more fatal problem. The chain on an operating table has been broken, and Black Panther ran away. Zombie Ant-Man can only bite his teeth and swallow this loss. If he tells this now, he will only die more miserably. And they can't be opponents of the behemoth outside. The zombie heroes unanimously decided to send a few members to look for food in the future. The rest will stay here and avoid the disaster. Anyway, Galactus's target is not them, but the entire Earth. So they had better not go out before they find a way to defeat Galactus. In that case, we all have to restrain each other. Otherwise, conflicts may arise in such a space in the next few days. Only by making sure in advance that we will not kill each other can we ensure balance and mutual safety. Just then, the zombie captain suddenly discovered that there was still broken vibranium here. Why do you have Black Panther's vibranium battlesuit here? Faced with the zombie captain's inquiry, the zombie Ant-Man pretended not to know. The zombie captain was too lazy to care about these, but the zombie Iron Man suddenly had a new idea. Maybe we can use vibranium to build a cannon. Is this vibranium enough? Nonsense. Of course not. I have a private island in the Pacific Ocean where there are complete equipment and some vibranium materials and adamantium alloy. Let's go there. The last sentence was said to the zombie Doctor Strange. The zombie doctor nodded. He was a zombie now, so he didn't care about the camouflage rules. He sacrificed one of his eyes to open the portal. Zombie Iron Man had made sufficient preparations before, including vibranium, adamantium, and some magic crystals brought by zombie Doctor Strange. They can now finally create weapons to defeat Galactus. We don't need to wait too long. We will take down that big guy tonight. Wait and see. This kind of grand scene is rare. It also brings together all our wisdom. By then, there will be endless meat to eat, and we won't have to bear such pain like now. These problems will not arise at all. After the plan was finalized, Zombie Iron Man became the main responsible member of this plan. All the zombie heroes present now are looking forward to the appearance of the final masterpiece. Only in this way can they live on the road again and continue to wander in various cities. Go to the ends of the earth to find the delicious food you desire. Be honest, now is not the time to start a fight. The planet devours such a huge body, enough for us to enjoy a feast. We will become stronger by then. After the planet devourer turned half of the North American continent into energy and absorbed it into his body, the zombies aimed the ultimate cannon they had studied at a suitable position. The planet devourer felt a little uncomfortable. There seemed to be some strange power on this planet that made him very uncomfortable, but the planet devourer, who was overwhelmed by hunger, had no time to think about it and could only transform the planet with great effort. He was extremely hungry now, and his body could only maintain an altitude of less than 500 meters, and he needed more power to digest this planet. He even doubted whether he could make a profit after eating this meal. At this moment, the planet devourer received a signal. The planet devourer, who originally didn't want to pay attention to it, concentrated on transforming the planet's energy, but the signal was even too annoying. The harassing phone calls made Galactus extremely angry, and he could only rush to the signal location to kill the guys who made harassing calls to him before eating. But when he arrived at the signal location, he was met with a beam of extremely turbid super energy waves. The next second, the invincible Galactus fell down. Zombie Apocalypse Season 1 end. To be broadcast in 5 minutes. Ultraman trigger the flowers we bloomed ad. Kanata was stunned. Although she didn't like her dad, and although Kanata was opposed to her dad's work most of the time, and she was always at the forefront of the father's love and daughter's filial piety, Kanata might be the only one in the world who loved Galactus. She never thought that the invincible Galactus in the single universe would actually fall on a mere Earth. The thought of the birth of a zombie version of Galactus made not only Kanata, but others also shudder. By then, the entire universe will be devoured by him. Season 1, does that mean it's not over yet? It's definitely not over yet. What happens after eating Galactus? And the Black Panther who escaped with the head of the zombie wasp? What will happen to this world next? Will it defeat the virus, or will it end up in the abyss of destruction like the universe of the Dark Bats? Bruce Wayne took a deep breath and said, "We have no way of knowing these things. And the most important question is the source of the zombie virus." Tony added, "If this thing is artificially created, it would be too terrifying. What kind of madman would create such a virus? Do you know what I have in mind now? I really want to go back and collect all 6 Infinity Stones. If there is such a thing as a zombie virus in my universe, I can just snap my fingers and destroy all the zombie viruses." Tony's words sounded like a joke, but in fact they did reflect his inner fear. The story of the 6 Dark Bats told everyone a truth. That is, not all stories in this world are heading towards a happy ending. Janitor, Galactus is one of the 5 gods of creation, so how are the other 4 compared to Galactus? Eternity is the universe is eternity, and eternity should be the most powerful. Janitor said, as for the other 3, death, annihilation, and infinity, I don't know who is stronger between them and my dad. I have only heard of their names, and had the honor of hearing the voices of eternity and death. But my dad is so hungry that he is unconscious every day, so he should be the weakest one. It is impossible to say that Janitor has never seen Galactus's power. When she was cleaning up the Council of Elders of the universe, Janitor witnessed with her own eyes how strong Galactus was. When he stood up for her, he instantly wiped out a group of cosmic elders, completely annihilated Geoscians who led the report, and even the Kingdom of Death would not let him go, and he disappeared directly into the universe. In the face of Death's questioning, Galactus only said that he didn't care, and then Death left. Janitor guessed that this might be because colleagues wanted to save face for each other. Chapter 956, Ultraman Trigger, The Flowers We Bloom. But the next story, Trigger, The Flower We Bloomed. Ultraman Trigger. I've never heard of this Ultraman warrior. Ace said to Zoffy beside him. Maybe he's a descendant of Tigger. The name sounds a bit similar. This time it should be a slightly brighter story. Dark Bats and Zombie Apocalypse almost made me depressed. Bright? Peter recalled the life-threatening plots in Nexus. If it weren't for the great god Noah who came out to save him in the end. Forget it. Let's hope for something good. Ultraman Trigger, the flower we bloomed starts. The Kingdom of Light. The headquarters of the Space Guard. Master. I missed you so much. You're so annoying. Don't come over. Oh, Master. Go away. Master. When did I ever admit that you, a half-baked person, was my apprentice? You're 20,000 years too early to be my apprentice. Master. Please pretend not to admit it. Don't be shy, Ultra. Shut up, you little brat. Okay, stop making trouble. It's Zeta as expected. He's so happy when he sees him for the first time. Ace, yes, this child, Zero, has clearly recognized Zeta, but he still looks like he doesn't admit it. Brother 7 doesn't have this problem either. It should be the awkward personality developed during the 1,000 years of free range. Zoffy looked at the two Ultramen fighting on the screen, and a smile appeared on his face. Young people are still energetic. Dinah glanced to the side and found the adult and hurriedly went up to separate the two Ultramen, who had just graduated from college in real age and just started kindergarten in mental age. Okay, it seems that everyone is here. Zoffy, wearing a red cape, strode to the front of the four Ultramen. Zero, Dinah, X, Zeta. I asked you to come here this time because I have a mission for you. Yes. Listening to the four answers, Zoffy nodded and told them about the mission this time. Well, everyone should know that there are many parallel time and space in this world, which is the so-called multiverse. A few days ago, huge dark fluctuations were detected into time and space with extremely similar fluctuations. One is the time and space where Ultraman Tigger is located. Tigger, when Dinah heard that it was his hometown and was related to his big brother, he immediately panicked. Did something happen to Tigger? A warrior as powerful as Tigger is not so easy to defeat, but the opponent's situation is still unclear. Zoffy first comforted Dinah, and then continued to explain the situation. The other is Trigger's world. It's the world line that is similar to Tigger's world, right? I don't quite understand. Zeta scratched his head. JPG. Are the worlds of Senior Tigger and Trigger so similar? Yes, both Tigger and Trigger ruled the world as Dark Warriors 30 million years ago. Is there such a thing? Tigger was actually a Dark Warrior 30 million years ago and once ruled the world? So exciting. And then what? Hurry up, hurry up. Kanata looked at the river god divided into 3 incarnations of the atmosphere group and laughed for a moment. Ultraman Tigger and Ultraman Trigger. The video continues. However, both Tigger and Trigger awakened the light because of their encounter with the super ancient priestess. Soon after, they became saviors who saved the world from the dark evil god. It is very rare for time and space to have such similar histories. A great war may break out around these two, time and space. You are all warriors who can travel through time and space. Zoffy flicked his cloak and said, I want you to gather your partners to investigate the unexplained dark fluctuations. So that's what's going on. Leave it to me. Dinah took the lead in volunteering to fight. Even if Zoffy didn't arrange it, Dinah, who heard that something happened to his family, couldn't be the one to take the blame. Maybe it's possible. It's really exciting to go on a mission with Master Zero. Master, I'll work super hard. Faced with the enthusiastic Zeta, Zero chose to ignore him. You should carefully select your teammates before you set off. By the way, how about calling him? Dinah understood immediately, nodded and said, I'll send him a message right away. X said, then I'll go call Tigger and Maximum. Seeing that Zero was using the same old trick again, Zeta chose to score again. Master Zero, don't pretend to ignore me. It's true. Master, ignoring me means that you have me in your heart. It's true. You little brat, shut up. You are so noisy. Master, don't come over. It's so noisy. Zoffy shook his head helplessly and left, his eyes full of relief. You've all grown up. It's great to be young. Zeta. Looking at Zeta on the screen, who was chasing Zero like a dog chasing a rabbit, Ace couldn't help but smile like an old father. It's great. Terriga Spacetime Earth, Nurse Sister. Kengo Shinshu. Here. The Saint Barrier held a watering can in his hand and pointed at Kengo. How many times have I told you that this is not the floor? This is the ceiling of the electronic circuit board of the Nastis. Do you know how much trouble it will be if you spill water into the electronic integrated circuit board? Do you know how dangerous this is? Can't you change a place to water the flowers? Do you know how much trouble you will cause me? Kengo Shinshu. I'm sorry, I was wrong. They are starting again. Malulu held a cup of tea in her hand and calmly watched the daily program of the Nastis. Hey, did you miss me? There was a bang in the sky, and Ignis made a brilliant appearance. Hey, don't be so cold. Don't you want to know how I got in here? Ignis walked to Malulu very skillfully, picked up the teacup and drank it, then took out a bunch of strange things from the 4-dimensional pocket behind him. I found a lot of top-notch items on this treasure hunt. Isn't our top-notch young lady here? Ignis. Jianwu turned to Ignis and said, today is not the weekend. Jiming still has to go to school. Huh? Really? Ignis sat down on the control seat of the Falcon, kicked his legs, and chose on the spot. She is a super ancient priestess. She even has superpowers. Does she still need to go to school? If you ask me, just let the top-notch young lady go treasure hunting with me. Being a romantic and cool treasure hunter traveling around the universe is much more interesting than staying on a small Earth. What treasure hunter? Malulu complained mercilessly, who would give up the identity of the eldest lady of the Jingjian Foundation, the next president of the Jingjian Foundation, to live a homeless life with you without food to eat? Ignis directly used the soul extractor to control Malulu. Okay, Ignis, Malulu didn't mean it, did he? Jianwu just pulled the two apart, and then rushed to the unhappy barrier. Don't be angry Smalu. No way. The barrier then pushed Jianwu's hand away, but the next second he heard a thumping sound. Jianwu? Huh? Malulu rushed to Jianwu's side, saw that the barrier was performing emergency resuscitation on Jianwu, and quickly turned around and shouted, Ignis. Ignis fainted too. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 957, The Kereloids of Abio are going to hell. Hey, this is the me I remember. Kengo walked in the darkness in confusion. Welcome Kengo Manuka. Who is it? Kengo heard the voice in the darkness and immediately became alert. Kengo is a very cautious person as Ultraman Trigger. First of all, it's a welcome ceremony. Let's warm up. Welcome ceremony? Do you mean a party? I have to report to the captain. Kengo's caution is limited. Lightning and thunder. Two black shadows appeared. Space Beetle Nikocharin, Giant Ant Monster Elindeo. Although I don't know what's going on, I have to go now. Start, Zapirio. Build the future, the light of hope. Ultraman Trigger. Ultraman Trigger Composite. In the shining light, the giant of light who protects the smile appears. Terriga snorted coldly, it was so funny. As the returned Ultraman Trigger, I have already maximumed out my talent for fighting two people at once. You didn't even look at the monsters I fought in the TV series, and what monsters I fought in the movie version. You put two bugs here, you might as well set a trap that will make people fall into it at first sight. Shut through the sky, high speed light. Ultraman Terriga. Ultraman Trigger Aerial bow. After switching to Kengo's happy form, Trigger kicked Nikocharin away and shot an arrow with his backhand to severely injure the giant ant monster Alindo. Longbow assault. Aerial form killed Alindo in seconds, and then Kengo switched back to composite form. Zapirio Ray. Nikocharin, dead. After being baptized by the spirit of Nexus, Trigger easily killed the two cannon fodder monsters in seconds. You are quite proficient in using your abilities. This Ultraman is so handsome. Indeed, no wonder Zoffy said before that the two timelines are very similar. Tigger and Trigger, just looking at their appearance, they seem to have some kind of relationship. The two monsters are recorded in detail in the database of the Kingdom of Light. Hikari served as the battlefield commentator. They are the space beetle Nikocharin that Jack dealt with, and the giant ant monster Elindeo that Taro dealt with. I didn't expect them to appear in that space. In the darkness, the lights from two different worlds met here. You are Tigger. Are you Trigger? Where is this? I don't know either. I woke up here. Just as the old man Tigger and Trigger were confused, Two black-robed men walked out of the darkness. This is the gap between time and space. A void space was created by the repeated time and space travel of various warriors. We rebuilt this place and established a special space that connects the underworld and the real world. Between the afterlife and the real world, you cannot enter this space if you have a physical body. Only the soul can enter here. Terika asked, do you mean that we and you are all in the state of souls? Yes, we are residents of the underworld, and our physical bodies no longer exist. Then what do you want to see us for? Tigger stepped forward and protected Tigger behind him. What do you want to see you for? A man in a black robe sneered and told Tigger his purpose. I'll tell you directly. I hate you. X2 Terika tilted his head in confusion, and Tigger slowly got ready for battle. I'm a Kirillid from Tigger's space and time. The Chiron from Tigger's space and time looked at Terika. I'm the Kirilloid of Trigger's space-time. The key of Trigger's space-time looked at Tigger. Could it be that the knowledgeable old man realized a possibility? Are you competing to see which space-time is more powerful? The two AO slowly exchanged positions and came to the Kirilloid of their own space-time. As expected of you, Tigger, the key said without hiding. Tigger's space-time and our Trigger's space-time. In order to determine the winner, we invited life forms with strong combat power from both sides to this space-time. Come on, let me see. Tigger, use your power to defeat Trigger. No, Trigger, you are the real savior. What kind of reason is this? Loki Odinson, these Kirilloids always come up with new tricks to please me. Loki Odinson, it's a pity that the Kirilloids in Tigger's time and space died too early and didn't see their fellow tribesmen seeing the evil god carrying a rocket and running. Doom had never seen such a scene before and was a little overwhelmed for a moment. The river god sat next to Doom and said to Doom, young Doom, do you know what this story tells us? What? The Kirilloids in a BO will go to hell. Holy Lord, they successfully refreshed the lower limit of my cognition of the Kirilloid race. I began to wonder what the Kirilloids in Trigger's time and space had done. Logan, if the two worlds are very similar, Tigger and Trigger have the same experience 30 million years ago, then Tigger's battle also has a similar story in Trigger's world. Bruce Wayne, but there are obvious differences between the two universes. I feel that the technology in the Trigger universe is more advanced. Although the Nastidus has a similar name to the Atreides, it is obvious that the Nastidus is more complicated. Guan, and there is Malulu. If I'm wrong, Malulu is the illusionary cosmic person Metron, that is, the same race as the Metron who appeared in the street, that is no longer sniped in Maximum. Guan, and there is the Nastidus. I feel that it is familiar. Guan, obviously, compared with Tigger, the world of Trigger is more complicated. Guan, if Tigger's time and space have just taken the first step towards space, Trigger's time and space may have already known the neighbors around and held two parties. Bruce Wayne, if this is the case, then in the Trigger world, the Kirilloids may have used different forms to contact Trigger. Doom discovered a problem. Compared with these veterans, there was a big gap in knowledge. When the veterans were happily discussing the world of Tigger and other worlds, Doom, who came in this time, could only stare blankly. Chapter 958, The Battle of the Dark Giant. The video continues. Please tell me where the exit is. Tigger politely refuses the 2Y. Don't you want to decide which time and space is more powerful, Logan? As expected of Tigger, he can be so polite in front of 2GZZ, one of whom has a grudge against me. If I meet them, I will start to beat them directly. Constantine. In fact, the two Kirilloids have a deviation in their thinking. It's meaningless for you to have two Ultramen fight each other. They should switch opponents and fight again. Constantine, let the Kirilloids of Trigger's time and space fight Tigger, and let the Kirilloids of Tigger's time and space fight Trigger. This way, not only will you feel more personally involved, but you can also get first-hand data. The most important thing is that the two Ultramen will definitely not mind fighting with you again. Logan, I agree. I don't want to fight meaninglessly. Trigger gently pulled the corner of Kirilloid's clothes. He actually didn't have a bad impression of this Kirilloid. First of all, the other party did not cause any large-scale damage, at least compared to the damage caused by the Dark Trio, Dada, Satan Delos, Color Changer Ruler, Color Changer Snake and other destruction maniacs. As for myself, oh, this can be called a problem. I have been beaten a lot, and he is not a big deal. Then we can only look forward to the other guests. Obviously, the battle of your group is the most exciting. But, it is impossible to let you go back like this. If you don't want to fight, then we can only see who can last longer. The sky collapsed, thunder and lava surged. The second emperor, Gorba. This is, Gorzan and Melba? It's Gorba, the monster in our world, my first opponent. Taliga took the lead, and was knocked away by Gorba. Although Gorba lives like an ultimate stitched monster born to save time and resources, although he is originally one, he still has some strength. Tigger, don't you feel strange? Yeah, my body is a little out of control. Tigger and Trigger QD Gorba. At this moment, a low voice sounded in the dark space. Activate, Dark Zapirio. Dark Trigger. A dark giant wearing dark armor, which is 7 points similar to Trigger, rolled out from the dark mist, and the dark hand arrow light bomb blasted Gorba back. Ignis. Huh. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. This situation is a bit complicated. Logan, that, isn't it the Dark Trigger that appeared in the previous picture? Peter Parker, indeed. Trigger and Dark Trigger. Dark Trigger chose Ignis as a human body? No, the light on Kengo's body is different from the light of Hiruki who was possessed by Ultraman, and Trigger did not appear in an independent posture. Ace, Kengo should be Trigger, and Trigger is Kengo. When we were on Earth, sometimes we needed to merge with Earthlings, that is, choose a human body, but there were also examples where we directly became Earthlings and appeared on Earth. Ace, for example, Brother 7. Ace, another example is Leo and Eddie. Guan, I'm more curious about the relationship between Ignis and Kengo, and between Trigger and Dark Trigger. In fact, when I was watching Trigger, I was thinking about a question, that is, can Kengo directly choose the obstacle as his human body? The video continues. It seems that the guests are all here. Don't worry, we have prepared a decent opponent for you. The figure of a dark warrior slowly appeared behind Gorba. What is this? This is what I looked like when I was a dark warrior. What's going on? The voice of the Kareloid man echoed in the dark space. It was pulled out when I touched you just now. It's pure, the dark part of Tigger, just like Dark Trigger and Trigger. Okay, everyone take your time. It's time for us to go meet the other guests. I see. Hikari understood after hearing this. Zoffy said that Trigger transformed into light after meeting the super ancient priestess. Before that, he had been active as a dark warrior, and the same was true for Tigger. After Trigger transformed into a giant of light, there was still some dark energy in his body. Later, Trigger sent this power out of his body and gave it to Ignis in some way, allowing Ignis to also have the ability to transform, but he turned into a dark giant, and Tigger kept the dark power in his body. Maybe Tigger himself doesn't know it. The image continues. Where is this? The fairy warrior Carmilla wandered confusedly in the dark space. I remember that I was fighting Trigger at the end. Who's there? The dark giant who is very similar to Carmilla, the warrior of love and hate. Carmilla. I'm Carmilla. Although I don't know why, I must defeat you. HMPH. Carmilla snorted coldly. Come on if you can. Carmilla kicked with a whip kick, but was blocked by Carmilla's arms. Then the two began to fight like dancing. Dark runes and lightsabers clashed quickly, and then the two of them used light whips to fight at the same time. In another space, two high-speed flying figures fought in midair. You suddenly hit me without any explanation. It's not elegant at all. The two blue figures fighting rapidly are Hitram and Hitler. Come on, Hitler. How can you lose to a guy like Shithram? I can't explain anything. My instinct is screaming that I'm going to destroy you. Hitram easily dodged Hitler's high-speed sprint, and Hitram said slowly, in that case, then well, let Yukaka make up for the difference in power. The two men's arm blades clashed rapidly, leaving several wounds on both sides. Ha 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 ha. A handful of purple blood was thrown out by Hitram, blinding Hitler's eyes. A more crazy and thrilling battle is about to begin. On the thick ground, the red dark giants are colliding fists. Shouldn't you tell me the reason for fighting me? Dagon didn't get angry, but asked the other party very calmly. Does fighting need a reason? That's right, let me enjoy the encounter with my new opponent. Dagon's calmness is also very limited. Chapter 959. Dagon, why is it that I, the one who mediates the fight, always get beaten? Image continues grasp victory, the light of strength. Ultraman, trigger. Ultraman trigger, powerful. A red giant appears, but it is Trigger powerful that appears first. Then Trigger powerful appears. Gorba, who was previously suppressing the two Ultraman, is beaten back by the two powerful Ultraman. In that case, wouldn't it be better to use the red form from the beginning? Trigger and Trigger throw Gorba to the ground, and then use the Radiance of Deshram to defeat Gorba at the same time. After defeating the opponent, the two Ultramen switch back to the composite form to prevent unexpected situations. It seems that we have to lose the first half first. Ignis came to meet the two Austrians at this moment. Seeing Ignis, who escaped perfectly, Trigger or Kengo gave him sincere praise. You are worthy of being a thief, Ignis. You are good at escaping. I'm a treasure hunter, not a thief. Ah, sorry Smalu. Anyway, we have to find a way to find the exit first. Unlike the two people who made a fuss, Trigger began to think about how to find the exit of this space immediately. Just then, a voice sounded, souls from the outside world. Who? Come out. Now among the Dark Warriors in battle, the victorious side will absorb the soul of the defeated side. When enough soul power is absorbed, you can gain the great power to revive in the real world. Hey, is this true? Terika's tone changed when he heard this. Dark Warriors mean. Boom. The collision of the lightsaber and the lightstick caused violent sparks to flash. When the owners of the lightsaber and the lightstick appeared and saw this, both sides exclaimed, Terika? Terika. Camilla. Terika looked at Camilla calmly, and Triika looked like he had seen a ghost, even though he was now a ghost. Blue light and purple light fell on the ground one after another, and the red dark giant appeared hand in hand. Hitram, Deram, Hitram, Dagon, great. The Kiriloid from the Trigger space-time looked at the gathered souls of the strong and said excitedly, the actors are all here, now it's time to decide the winner. Until one side, the Kiriloid from the Trigger space-time was pierced by a purple blade. Before he could say anything, Hitram grabbed his shoulder and the arm blade in his hand frantically left countless huge wounds on the body of the Kiriloid. Really, it's so noisy. Heh, I prefer the way you bleed. Hey, you guys are a little too serious. I said it was just for fun. The Degaji suddenly found that the development of the matter was a little beyond his control. Why did Hitram just kill people without saying a word? I suddenly feel that maybe there is someone else behind the scenes. The Kiriloids in the two-time and space may just be pawns pushed out by the real mastermind to carry out the mission. Bruce frowned and found that things might not be simple. This may not be caused by playing too much. Remember the voice that reminded them before? That's right. Hitram touched his arm blade. It's indeed a little fun, but this is how we play. Hitram suddenly jumped up and slashed at the key people in the Trigger time and space, but at this critical moment, someone appeared to block the knife for the Kiriloids. Hitram. The Dark Trigger incarnated by Ignis stepped forward and pushed Hitram away. The enemies were extremely jealous. Although Hitram had been beaten once by Ignis, Ignis did not mind beating Hitram again. Especially this GZZ also cut Jian Wu. It was Trigger who blocked the knife for Kiriara just now. Why did Trigger? Even if you hate me. Trigger covered his wound and looked at Kiriarad. That's not why I can't save you. Trigger stepped forward to help Trigger up. At the moment, when he turned his back to Kiriarad, he said something that Kiriarad would never forget. It's wrong to think that others don't agree with things you don't agree with. If everyone can't care about others, the disputes will not disappear. If you know, leave quickly. Kiriarad was stunned. It seems that he will not conflict with the Taka people. It's rare to meet again. Let's fight. Zenshan Kengo. Unfortunately, Super Ancient Kazintang. Why didn't I think of this name when I was working on the title of Smash? Didn't think so. Tigger looked at the 7 dark men who had surrounded them in an unusually tacit understanding for some reason, and said, it seems that the only way to end this battle is to send all the darkness back to the underworld. Ignis, are you awake? Go ahead. Hitler and Deram suppressed Tigger as soon as they came up. Camilla punched Tigger in the lower abdomen and knocked Tigger back. Okay, Camilla kissed him. She kissed Tigger on the face. Damn. Someone come. Someone is being a hooligan to the 30 million-year-old man. Let's shift our attention to the other side. The environment here is more complicated. Carmilla whipped out with a whip. Did she whip Hydra with a whip? Trigger looked at Hydra and Carmilla who were fighting and didn't know whether to persuade them to stop fighting. Okay, Dagon went up to persuade them to stop fighting. Okay, Dagon was slapped and retreated with a sword energy. Trigger stepped forward to hold Dagon, and then Carmilla whipped him again. Trigger used palm-light bullets to fight back, and Dagon was whipped by Carmilla again without knowing why. Carmilla reached the time when Kaxintang would attack, so Carmilla rushed up and fought with Trigger like a glue. Don't fight anymore. There is something wrong with this opponent. There is a force that is affecting our thinking. Dagon is still trying to persuade them to stop fighting. Dagon is still trying to persuade them to stop fighting. Dagon was attacked by Hydra. Is this the wisdom of the strong strategist? You are great, Dagon. Okay, now it is the battle between Dark Trigger and Dark Trigger. This group can be regarded as normal, except that Ignis cannot beat Dark Trigger and is beaten the whole time. There is nothing wrong with it. Calm down. Wake up. Dagon punched Hydra and sent him flying, then stepped forward to pull Carmilla away. His voice echoed in this dark space. Wake up. Don't be affected by that force. There is a force that is affecting our thinking. Carmilla's stick stabbed Dagon's waist and knocked Dagon back. Seeing this, Hydra sneered mercilessly. You are really naive, Dagon. Don't you see anything? What? Look. Hydra flew into the air and pointed at the chaotic battlefield below. Carmilla was sticking to Trigger, and her hands kept touching Trigger. Carmilla took the stick and began to swing, and countless dark runes appeared around her body. Darum rushed up with his fists and punched Dagon. Dark Trigger was still fighting Ignis. Even if the people here don't need to be affected by their will, the long-standing grudges can still make them fight each other. Ha 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 ha. Hydra was stabbed in the waist by Hitler, and Hydra, who was broken, raised his knife and slashed at Hitler. Please say, thank you, Blue Dark Trigger. Right square bracket. Chapter 960, The Evolution of Gotangia. Carmilla releases a dark wave that triggers a super explosion, which blows away all the people who are fighting in a ball. My intuition tells me Constantine has an expression of watching the fun and not minding the trouble. This is definitely a huge inside story. That's right, Carmilla, Darum and Hitler have never been mentioned in the story of Trigger. We only know that Trigger and other light giants left the Earth before the darkness fell on the Earth 30 million years ago. What happened during this period? Is this Trigger the Trigger Ultraman who left the Earth 30 million years ago or Deco? I have a guess. Bruce Wayne. First of all, according to Zoffy, we can know that Trigger in 30 million years is a dark warrior who dominates the world. Here, 30 million years can be regarded as an imaginary number. Bruce Wayne, but when Trigger and Deco met, no, in the earlier super ancient period, Trigger should have been a guardian god and got along with the people of Earth. Bruce Wayne, under the inspiration of that super ancient priestess, Trigger transformed darkness into light, became the current giant of light, and defeated the ruler of darkness. Bruce Wayne, perhaps, when Trigger transformed from a dark warrior to a giant of light, the first people he defeated were Camilla, Darum and Hitler. Bruce Wayne, judging from Camilla's actions, Camilla may be Trigger's close partner or lover during the Dark Warrior period. Wanda, for justice, even his lover was sacrificed. Peter Parker, this is just a guess. The video continues. Trigger covered his shoulder and limped towards the place where the battle fluctuations were the greatest. At this moment, Trigger came to Trigger's side according to the induction in the dark. Is it the injury you just got? Trigger looked at this alien self who looked at least 70% similar to himself and stopped him. Take a rest. I can go over there. No, no, if they return to the real world here, the smiles in the world will disappear again. But, looking at Trigger in front of him, Trigger suddenly recalled the scene when he first met Trigger. That day, a ray of light crossed time and space and came to his side. In that battle, he and Trigger had a telepathic connection. Although they had never met before, they were like one person. That day, the rays of the Zaperiod connected into a line, and the light of miracle crossed time and space, conveying the tenderness and love that had been away for 25 years. Tigger, I thought about it for a long time after that. Why your time and space are so similar to mine. I think if there is any reason why my time and space are similar to yours, I think it must be the time and space born from the desire of the people who yearn for you and love you to see you again. Tigger, I may not be able to become like Tigger, but even if I'm like this, there are people who believe in me and cheer for me. I have irreplaceable partners. For the smiles of these people, I will never fall down and never give up. He knew that he was a replica in a sense, but even so, he still tried his best to protect everyone's smiles. Enough, the battle ends here. The voice of the Keriloid echoed in the dark space, and the minds of all the dark giants who were still fighting suddenly became clear. Their anger was calmed, and the battle was over. Dark Tigger turned into a cloud of smoke and dissipated. The dark trio of the time and space looked at each other in confusion. Note 1. Why am I fighting you? Faced with Camilla's doubts, Camilla was irritable and pushed Camilla back a few steps with a palm. What did you say? Didn't you kick me first? So that's it. In order to arouse their fighting spirit, did you use psychological hints? Seeing that things ended so smoothly, Trigger hurriedly said, okay, the people from the darkness, send them back to the underworld. Yes. Keriloid nodded, and countless black mists emerged. Something's wrong. Keriloid looked at the black mist around him, and his face suddenly changed. This breath, this is impossible. What's wrong? This breath is the ruler of darkness. The incomprehensible roar echoed in the dark space. Everyone couldn't tell where Gatangia was at the moment. In the face of that terrifying pressure, even Hitram and Hitler, the two real and fake crazy guys, couldn't continue to go crazy. Why? Because it's too dangerous. Only the souls of these two guys haven't been summoned. The Keriloids were also panicking. This so-called game has been running wildly in the direction of being out of their control since the middle stage. Now even Gatangia has appeared. This is their Keriloid god who doesn't dare to face the evil god directly. Look where. A different Gatangia appeared in front of everyone. Gatangia has become a little different. Tigger was keenly aware of this. The previous Gatangia's face was connected to the body, but the Gatangia in front of him was different. His neck stretched out a lot, but the face with eyes on the chin was definitely unique in the world. In the darkness, thunder and lava surged. Galzan, Melba? No. They have all evolved. The voice of the Keriloid was already full of fear. This is Flame Galzan and Thunder Melba. And Gatangia's evolved form, the ultimate evil god, the source of evil, the destroyer of light, the destroyer of hope, Kumiagia. I admit that I made this dumpling just for this little bit of jealousy. If everyone doesn't fight together, there is no chance of winning. Everyone, although everyone has their own stories, let's cooperate now. The first person to respond to Tigger's words was Dagon, but this didn't seem to be something unexpected. Okay, before we fight our opponents, let's get rid of the guys who are in the way first. Let's go together. The battle begins again, but this time under the oppression brought by the evil god. The giant of light and the dark warrior join forces to fight the real darkness. Note 1. There is no problem writing that paragraph in the form of a stage play, but my ability is limited, and the effect of awkward writing is too poor, so I made a small modification. Chapter 961. The evil god falls. Good death. Ha ha ha. Torturing the prey until it can't move. Enjoying the prey's painful cries bit by bit. This is my style. Listening to Hitler's words, Hitram covered his face and laughed wildly. Oh my, our hobbies are really similar. Amidst the crazy laughter, the blue and purple figures flew into the sky and fought with the super ancient dragon surrounded by the power of thunder. The terrifying speed instantly broke through the speed of sound. The three figures chased each other in the sky at a super high speed that ordinary people could not observe. The blue and purple broke through the defense of thunder in an instant. Hitram took the lead in slashing the back of Thunder Melba with a sword and then kicked Thunder Melba's spine fiercely. Hitler followed closely behind, and the two swords cut and shattered the double wing membranes of Thunder Melba. Thunder Melba let out a wail and fell to the ground. Blue and purple flashed wildly around Thunder Melba and finally fell to the ground. This bloody part is not allowed to be written. On the lava ground, the two ruffians roared. Go, my friend. Okay, use our strength to smash the enemy to pieces. Dagon stepped forward and punched Flame Galzan, who retreated repeatedly. Deram followed closely behind and kicked Flame Galzen's waist with a heavy kick. Then the two strong men punched Flame Galzen at the same time and sent him flying. The fists with terrifying force kept bombarding Flame Galzen's body. If Flame Galzen had not relied on the power of lava to get enough armor reinforcement, he might have been beaten to death now. The two strong men tacitly threw Flame Galzen hard and performed the skill starter at the same time. Dagon, Flame Crusher, Deram, Polar Blaze, Fusion, Zestim Earth Splitting. In short, compared to Thunder Melba, Flame Galzen passed away peacefully. It seems that it is time for me to show my ability. The voice of Ignis came from Dark Trigger's body, and the opponent he faced was very special. It was a strange bad with broken wings and a broken beak. Super ancient pioneer monster, Elite Zoga. Lord Gatangia, let me sacrifice my life for you once again. My strength is superb. Dark Trigger hit Zoga back 3 steps with a straight punch. Although it was only a part of Trigger's power, Dark Trigger was not weakened in this special space, and it was more than enough to deal with a Zoga soul. And the real battlefield is still here with the two Ga people and Gatangia. I don't know how long ago it was, Tigger. I really miss the days of fighting side by side with you. Facing Camilla, who reached out to touch his face, Tigger shook her shoulder and shook her off. Focus on the battle, Camilla. Ultraman Tigger, you are just a piece of wood. Terriger. Trigger. Carmilla rushed directly to Trigger. Terriger. Hey my Trigger. Carmilla, the enemy is over there. Facing the ancient Kaxintang who was sick, Trigger quickly pointed to Gatangia's position to let Carmilla recognize the position. The Dark Claw flew through the air, and Tigger and Trigger switched to the powerful type at the same time. 4 punches against 2 claws, the two O's instantly fell into a disadvantage. Gatangia's strength is far stronger than Gatangia's, and in this dark space, the two O's physical strength and energy are all fading. After a long battle, they are now seriously lacking in physical strength. Terriger was knocked out by Gatangia. He looked up at Tigger in shock. Senior Tigger, how come your powerful form has a domineering body? Looking at Tigger and Terriger being suppressed by Gatangia, Camilla slowly said to herself in another time and space, really, it seems that we all like troublesome guys. Yeah, sometimes I hate myself. The next second, Camilla and Carmilla attacked at the same time, swung their lightsabers to cut off countless tentacles, and then kicked the two huge claws away with almost the same kick. Terriger broke free from Gatangia's control and quickly switched to the air form to use the freezing light that would never fail to control Gatangia. Terriger also switched to the air form, holding the airbow and turning into countless after images to sweep away Gatangia's dark tentacles. Tigger was shocked. Terriger, how can your aerial form still fly so fast? Tigger switched back to the composite form. His palm turned into a knife and chopped on Gatangia. Camilla blocked the sneak attack of Tigger's tentacles, and then Tigger reached out to Camilla, picked up Camilla, and aimed at Gatangia's head with a combination of punches. Terriger helped Carmilla, who was knocked away by Gatangia's pincers, up. The two of them attacked at the same time, leaving countless sparks on Gatangia's body. Everyone, come together. Zeppelian Ray. Camilla Spark. Terriger and Carmilla looked at each other and aimed at Gatangia at the same time. Terriger knelt on one knee, pulled out the forward swing of the Zeppelian Ray with both hands, stretched his arms backwards, and then stretched them forward and straightened them. But when he finally superimposed the L-type launch, he suddenly raised it above his head, crossed his hands above his head, and the dazzling light gathered in Trigger's hands. Carmilla stood behind Trigger at this moment. She made several circles with her hands in front of her chest in the posture of a Valakitesvara, then spread her wings to accumulate power, then lowered her center of gravity and pressed her hands down. She released a dark spell wrapped with purple-red dark energy, and finally these spells were used as energy to accumulate power in Carmilla's hands. Carmilla's hands, which had gathered energy, clasped her fingers with triggers, and the original light and dark energy merged at this moment, turning into a huge beam of light that shot towards Gatangia. Combination skill, light and dark fire. The black fog dissipated, and the evil god was repelled. The people who had fought separately before gathered together at this moment. I'm sorry. The surviving Kareloid stepped forward and said, I was determined to prove that my own time and space was superior, but I didn't expect it to turn out like this. It's okay. Trigger said to the Kareloid, this also shows that you are proud of the world you were born in. This is a good thing. I think this relationship is great. Humph, you're such a pushover for forgiving him after being screwed so badly. You're such a pushover, Shinaka Kengo. The middle is blocked. It should be bloody. Chapter 962. Half-time break. Trigger turned his head to look at Carmilla, and then. Oh. You smiled. Ah. Carmilla quickly covered her face when she heard that, turned her body, and lowered her head. Her face slightly reddened, not daring to look directly at Trigger. Sure enough, a smiling face is more suitable for Carmilla. Hey, you. What big truth are you talking about? Carmilla, fainted by the sweetness of the super ancient candy point JPG. Camilla looked at Tigger, and Tigger looked at Camilla. Tigger was unmoved. Camilla wanted to move forward like Carmilla, but didn't dare to, so she could only stay friends. Ha 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 ha. The two strong men used their fists and feet to fight and developed feelings. The feelings of a reckless man are always particularly simple. The two crazy guys were one in the northeast and the other in the southwest, far away from each other. At this time, Ignis walked up and asked, oh, my dear friend, are you interested in how to kill that blue clown? Hitram, tell me more. In this way, a pair of lovers were showing their love. Another pair were gazing at each other affectionately. Probably, two strong men were happily making friends. A strategist and Ignis were discussing how to kill the other strategist, and a world where only Hitram lived like an orphan was born. It's almost time. Let's go back to where we should go. It's time to say goodbye again. Terika. Carmilla looked at Terika affectionately and issued her final threat. I will never forgive you in my life. Don't forget. Yes. Facing Carmilla's threat, Terika nodded and held Carmilla's hand with both hands. I won't forget, Carmilla. You are always in my heart. Always in Terika's heart. Remember, keep smiling. TSK. Carmilla turned her head unhappily, but her hand was held tightly by Terika, and she couldn't pull it out. All darkness, become my power. Ultraman Trigger the Flower We Bloom Part 1 End. Enter the halftime break. This break will last for 1 week. Fuck. What is that? Constantine originally had an expression of looking down on the world. Love and the like were beautiful, but he didn't have it. However, the sudden words frightened him so much that he choked to death. It was the voice that reminded Trigger and the others before. Ace, that's right. It was this voice that told Trigger and the others before that if the Dark Giant defeated the other party and then obtained the other party's power, he would be resurrected and return to the real world. Ace, this guy is indeed the mastermind behind the scenes. Bruce Wayne, the Kareloids are just pawns instigated by him. Why did you suddenly take a break? Doom looked puzzled. Well, because the number of broadcasts and the time have been extended. The screening room has added a halftime break in the 5th live broadcast, but the time used to be 1 day. During this period, we can freely go back and forth between the screening room and our world. Because the world we watched has indeed been a bit long. This is to take care of some weaker members, or simply to take care of Doom. He was the only ordinary person who knew a little magic in the screening room, and Doom himself guessed this. The world of X-Men. Eric. Charles, I believe you. Charles didn't say much. He showed almost absolute trust in Eric. Okay. Eric sat opposite Charles and asked, where's Logan? The Ministry of Defense has a mission that requires our cooperation, so I asked Kurt to take Hank and Logan there. Ministry of Defense? So how did you watch the video? I was writing the lesson plan after Logan left. The Kingdom of Light. Captain Hickory. Taro asked me to make something. Tregear found Hickory who had just returned and played the video of his conversation with Taro to Hickory. In a very distant world, a human child constructed Taro's Dharma image in the Sea of Consciousness. Hickory felt incredible after watching the video. Although they have mastered the technology of traveling through different single universes, it is extremely difficult to implement it. The biggest reason is energy. And a child relied on his thoughts to construct Taro's Dharma image in his spiritual sea and successfully connected with Taro. This sounds a bit too incredible. Make a prop that can assist the child in his practice, and it needs to be transmitted through mental power. After hearing this request, Hikari smiled. Interesting, very challenging. I took it, but what about Taro? I need his help to make this prop. There is something going on with the space guard. I heard that it seems that a new Ultra Warrior will be sent to Earth. Earth? So soon? Space Guard headquarters. Captain, Instructor Taro. Mebius, the most outstanding young warrior of the Kingdom of Light, came here to report to Ultra Father and Taro. Well, Ultra Father looked at the young warrior in front of him with satisfaction. Taro spoke first. Mebius, do you know the Earth? Earth, the planet that the predecessors talked about. Yes. Taro nodded and continued, because of the activities of Imperla, the active period of monsters on Earth has been advanced, so we decided to send you to Earth to take on the mission of surrounding the Earth this time. Do you accept it, Mebius? Yes. It's Milner. Very good. A wristband-like prop appeared in the hand of Ultra Father, and he handed the prop to Mebius. The environment of the Earth is very special. The super strong atmosphere blocks 97% of the sun's energy. So with your energy, if you move around on Earth in the form of the Kingdom of Light, it is very likely that you will not be able to exceed 3 minutes. So you must move around on Earth in the form of an Earthling. Become an Earthling, that is, the appearance of our people from the Kingdom of Light in 270,000 years, or possess an Earthling. If you possess an Earthling, it is very likely that under the influence of a long time, the two sides will completely merge and become indistinguishable. Both Jack and Ace have this situation, and Jack's situation is more serious. After switching body forms, the Ultra Warriors of the Land of Light need a tool that can activate the power of light to return to their current form. Otherwise, they must reach a certain level of emotion before they can transform. If they are possessed by an Earthling, this emotional transformation will speed up the fusion process. Chapter 963, The Imperial Judge Galatron. This is a special transformation device made for you by Hikari, based on the gift from the King of Ultra, the Breath of the Night. He said he hopes you will name this item. Mebius took the item carefully and solemnly. He thought for a moment and said, since it is an imitation of the legendary Superman King of Ultra, the Breath of the Night, and it was made specifically for me by Commander Hikari, then let's call it Hikari's Breath. Hikari's Breath? A good name. Taro nodded and said, coincidentally, on Earth, Hikari's name also means light. This transformation device can also be called the Breath of Light, or the Breath of Brightness, or the Breath of Rise. In addition to helping you transform, Hikari's Breath also contains some auxiliary equipment specially set up for you by Hikari, including the Earth Monster Analyzer, the Emergency Capture A, the Emergency Shield, and the digitized Eternal Spear Gun. Taro pressed lightly on Hikari's Breath, and a data panel ejected. Look, here is an analysis of your physical condition. This is your health value, which will continue to decrease as your injuries worsen. But when it decreases to 30%, it is very serious, and 10% means you are in critical condition. This is your energy value, which can help you more carefully determine whether your energy is sufficient. This is the Kunguni summoning button, but because Kunguna is too powerful, you only have 3 chances to use it. Use this data well in battle, so that you can better protect the Earth. Yes. In the Hikari aura, the most important item Hikari equips you with is a second life. A second life. Is it the life solidification technology? Yes. Hikari implanted a solidified life energy into the Hikari aura. When you die in battle on Earth, the Hikari aura will preserve your soul and resurrect you with the help of the life solidification technology. Taro's tone became unusually serious when he said this, but the life solidification technology is not omnipotent. You must not be careless because of this. At the same time, once the life solidification technology is activated, we will receive the news and send help as soon as possible. But this also means that your mission has failed. Father Ultra saw that he had almost finished speaking, so he stepped forward to give his final speech. Mebius. Here. Father Ultra's voice suddenly became stern. Mebius, from today on, you are an Ultra Warrior. Ultra Warrior. Yes, that's what they call us on that planet. On Earth, you will meet other life forms, humans. I believe that through contact with humans, you will also be able to gain important things like other Ultra Warriors. Important things? Those are things that you can only find by yourself. I understand. Go ahead, young warrior. Fly to the irreplaceable planet, Earth. Looking at Mebius, who turned into flames and left, Taro recalled his past self. So when I flew away, did my father and brothers feel this way? Father, Captain, is it really okay for Mebius to go to Earth under the current circumstances? Taro asked with some concern. Although in another time and space, Mebius has gained an unbreakable bond on Earth, our world is obviously a little different. Because of his complicated mood, Taro almost called out his father directly due to a slip of the tongue. Ultra Father has expressly forbidden Taro to call him father in public. In public, he must call him captain. But for some reason, Ultra Father did not care about this small slip of the tongue this time. Zoffy went to Earth a week ago, and Ace has already set off just now. Ultra Father recalled the last scene in Hikaru's story and said that kind of bond should not be severed because of the threat of darkness. That is the indelible bond between humans and us. Human Mars base. Father, today's collection of spacium materials has been completed. The young boy said to the old man beside him, in 3 days, we can go to Earth. Well, you have worked hard today, Hiroto. The old man heard Hiroto's words, and his eyes flashed with excitement. Earth, our home. Finally, I can go home, Hiroto. You are looking forward to it. The young man called Hiroto nodded and looked at the planet that was looming in the sky at that moment. Earth, what do you look like? Because of my and your mother's work, you have been in the mining base on Mars since you were born. You have worked so hard over the years. It's nothing, Father. Hiroto said, I have been born. At this moment, the Earth shook. What's wrong? A high-intensity energy source appeared near the base. Yes, it's a monster. Hiroto looked outside the base. At some point, a black humanoid dragon-like mechanical beast stood on the empty ground. The black armor coating was decorated with golden patterns, and the skull eyes revealed cold murderous intent. What is that? This is a monster I've never seen before. The dragon's eyes lit up red, and a cold mechanical voice reached the ears of the humans on this planet. I'm the Imperial Judge, Galatron, and I'm analyzing the life forms on this planet. Galatron used the red core on his chest to emit red light, to scan the entire Mars base, and the data in his mind was constantly being processed. All the members of the Mars base who were scanned by Galatron's scanning light felt dizzy, and several members with weaker bodies even vomited. Retreat quickly. The other party must have bad intentions. The captain was a person who had experienced the era of Ultraman Leo, and he knew that he must not have even a little bit of luck in the face of such a situation. The other party's paint and scan made the captain's heart tighten. The unknown creatures that came with this attitude must not have a good attitude. Evacuate. The base has entered an emergency evacuation state. The highest evacuation level. Everyone evacuate quickly. I will take full responsibility if something goes wrong. Retreat quickly. The base sounded the highest red alert, and all weapons and equipment were aimed at the unknown Imperial Judge, Galatron. Analysis completed. Trial begins. Life form number, Earth human, has cooperated with the Light Countryman, the highest level target for elimination, many times. The estimated probability of surrendering to the Empire is 0.0097%. The probability is too low. Give up persuading surrender, and start the judgment. The judgment plan. Clean up. The moment Galatron took action, all the weapons on the Mars base began to attack. But it was all useless. The opponent's strength exceeded several versions of the Earth in this world. And this is not the Earth, but a mining base on Mars. The most powerful firepower here is only the 3rd generation laser cannon. The laser of the laser cannon was blocked by the magic disc protective shield released by Galatron before it fell on Galatron's body. It is hard to imagine that a robot with such a strong sense of technology actually has magic defense. But Galatron quickly cancelled the defense because it found that this attack could not even scratch its armor, and consuming energy to cast a magic shield was obviously a loss-making choice. The greatest contempt is to ignore. A light golden laser swept across the fragile defense of the Mars mining base, Galatron's floating cannon, and Galatron's right arm secondary weapon. Galatron was even unwilling to spend more energy to use Galatron Spark. Wait, where's Hiroto? Hiroto. At this moment, a probe carrying attack weapons was taking off in the Mars base. And in the sky, a red ball was shining brightly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 964. Here comes our hero, Ultraman. Hiroto. Come back. Captain Bang's voice was transmitted to Hiroto's body through the communication equipment. What are you doing? Father, someone must lead the enemy away, so that the large force can evacuate. Hiroto's fighter plane took off, and the laser weapons on the plane began to calibrate. Hiroto said to his father, please evacuate quickly. Come back. This is my job. No. The captain's job is to lead the crew to a safe landing. You haven't even set foot on the land of the earth. Are you going to die like this? Hiroto's face showed obvious sadness, but he said resolutely, the earth is just a planet I haven't seen. Compared to this, you must bring your mother back. Your mother died in the attack of the Name communists 5 years ago. Hiroto slowly took out a pocket watch with a line of words written inside the pocket watch, to my dearest son. Outside, the laser weapons on the reconnaissance plane had already opened fire, but they could not scratch the enemy's armor coating. Mother, she is still alive. She lives in my father's heart, so I will live too. Hiroto. Galatron didn't want to pay attention to the buzzing bug. Its goal was to destroy all humans on this base. Hiroto was too small to allow it to transfer its priority attack authority. Detected target trying to escape. Firepower level increased. Calculating the optimal attack plan. The red core on Galatron's chest lit up red, and a dazzling red light began to gather. Galatron Spark. Father, everyone, live. The reconnaissance plane flew straight towards the attack path of Galatron Spark. Hiroto wanted to use the reconnaissance plane to block this attack, and buy precious time for the humans in the base to escape. Hiroto. Facing the increasingly bright red light, Hiroto closed his eyes tightly, trembling all over, and waiting for death to come. Is that Ultraman? Hiroto heard his father's exclamation from the communication channel. When he opened his eyes, his parents told him the childhood myth over and over again. The legendary cosmic hero, Ultraman, has arrived. Cheers erupted in the base. Ultraman, who had disappeared for 20 years, and was already a legend among the new generation, appeared before them again today. Unlike newborns, the average age of the staff at the Mars base was 35, even though Hiroto, a young man who had just celebrated his 18th birthday, lowered the overall level. They had all seen the giants who protected the Earth, and they all knew that Ultraman was not a legend. The commander-in-chief of the Mars mining base burst into tears. He trembled as he took off his protective glasses, as if he was looking at an old friend he hadn't seen for many years. Here comes our hero, Ultraman. The giant with a silver-red cat head stood in front of Hiroto, and after Galatron's chest scanning beam scanned Mebius, it fell silent. Just as Mebius was about to go forward to check the situation, Galatron restarted. His left arm switched to a black and gold giant sword, Galatron blade, and the Galatron floating gun on his right arm switched to the Galatron claw in melee mode. The unique mechanical sound of the machine came from the purple-red core on Galatron's chest. Scan completed. The enemy of the Empire, the people of the Country of Light, the elimination level, the highest. Analyzing the status of both parties. Both parties are in good condition. The opponent's threat level is assessed. Star level. Predicting the chance of victory. The chance of victory is predicted 91%. The battle begins. Start the first level combat mode. Galatron waved the giant blade towards Mebius. Seeing this, Mebius used Mebium Cut to test it, but it was easily blocked by Galatron's magic shield. Seeing this, Mebius placed his right hand on the hickory breath in his left hand, then separated his hands, and then put his hands in an H-shaped shape above his head, and then crossed his hands to emit light. Mebius Ray. The 100,000 degree high temperature Mebius Ray was easily blocked by Galatron's magic defense basin, and Mebius was shocked when he saw it. It's not a problem to be able to block it, but it's rare to block it so easily. Mebius pressed the Hickory aura on his arm to scan the mechanical monster in front of him, but the result was that there was no information about this monster. A monster that has never appeared before. Facing Galatron, who was about to get close to him, Mebius dodged the opponent's giant blade with a small move, and then carefully thought about the plan to deal with the enemy. Galatron used Galatron laser to force Mebius to keep moving, and suddenly its eyes shot out red lasers, and the landing place was the place where Mebius was about to roll. Block the movement. At the critical moment, a missile detonated Galatron's spark and advance in midair. It's Hiroto. Not only Hiroto, but more fighters from the Mars exploration base set sail, and they want to fight side by side with Ultraman. After the fight, be sure to tell me your name, Ultraman. Hiroto controlled the fighter plane to join the fighter group, circling around the battlefield between Mebius and Galatron, acting as Mebius' wingman. Attack. The fighter group quickly opened fire. Although the dense firepower could not even scratch the enemy's armor, it successfully provided the best cover for Mebius to approach Galatron. Galatron wielded a giant sword. This heavy long weapon has a huge advantage in long-range combat, but once the enemy gets close, it will not be fully exerted due to its length, and it will even affect close combat. Mebius kicked Galatron's right claw away with a high kick, then grabbed the opponent's right arm sideways, and began to pull hard. Mebius's original intention was to put pressure on Galatron's right arm, to try to affect the opponent's strength in the subsequent battle, or even directly abolish Galatron's right arm. In theory, this style of play is feasible. Although Galatron is a machine, its body structure is similar to that of humans. Although it has no internal organs, it has movable parts such as joints. Once there is a problem with the joints, Galatron's right arm will naturally not be able to exert force smoothly in the next battle. However, Mebius misjudged 2 points. First, Galatron's tonnage far exceeds his own, and he can't pull Galatron's arm at all. Second, Galatron is a robot, and the body structure of a robot can do things that carbon-based creatures can't do, such as removing its own hands and using them as missiles to attack. Mebius screamed, and he was directly knocked out by Galatron's right arm missile. Facing the giant sword raised by Galatron, Mebius rolled over without caring about the pain, and finally avoided the opponent's attack. Are all the monsters on Earth so strong? The seniors have to face so many powerful enemies. Chapter 965, Galatron Mk2. Mebius covered his wound, and fought with Galatron, whose strength was far superior to his. Mebius tapped the Hickory aura on his arm a few times quickly, then waved his left arm forward, and a grey robot like a can appeared. Sevenger Tech Bureau Special Edition. Sevenger, please. / thank you, Taroga. Mebius didn't know why he suddenly made a slip of the tongue, but Sevenger had already been dispatched. Galatron scanned habitually, and then ignored Sevenger. I'm the judge of civilization created by the Emperor himself, the Dragon of Punishment, and the heavy weapon of the Empire. And the opponent is just a big weight. Don't worry about it. Sevenger pounces. Bang. Galatron was knocked away. Galatron didn't detect any powerful weapons or any strong record of the opponent. Even the energy source had to rely on the extra large battery on its back, and it could only last for about 10 minutes. Galatron's super mechanical brain couldn't analyze why this big weight, which looked so weak, could hit people so painfully. Mebius seized this opportunity and stepped forward to chop off Galatron's right arm defending near the core with a knife, and then squeezed into the inner circle to hit the abdomen, and then aimed his left and right straight punches at the purple-red core on Galatron's chest and hit it continuously with a set of left and right straight punches. 7. In addition to holding Galatron's left arm giant blade tightly, the humans on the ground send out their other main force, the Mars chariot. Mebius then hit Galatron's purple-red core with a top elbow, and Galatron, whose core was severely damaged, was knocked to the ground. Galatron, who was lying on the ground, was pounced on by Sevenger. Before he could get up, 2 big iron palms slapped Galatron's face back and forth, and the brand new paint was blown off. Galatron, I just painted it. Then Sevenger rolled back and forth on Galatron's body, and every time Galatron wanted to get up, he was pressed back by Sevenger. Galatron, fuck. This weight is poisonous. Galatron's claw on his left arm switched back to Galatron's floating cannon mode, separated from the main body, and tried to repel Sevenger by acting separately. But Sevenger is not an orphan fighting alone like it. Sevenger has teammates. Mebius quickly used the Mebius blade to knock down the Galatron floating cannon that had just been launched, and then kicked the Galatron floating cannon hundreds of meters away. The humans threw out ropes from their Mars chariots to tightly bind the Galatron floating cannon that was originally entangled with the fighter group, making it impossible for the Galatron floating cannon to go back for support. While Sevenger was controlling Galatron with a set of hard control, Mebius summoned the Mebius lightsaber and chopped it down at Galatron's head. Violent sparks flew from Galatron's head, and the body was obviously damaged. The human fighter group chased the Galatron floating cannon, and the fighters kept firing, especially using electromagnetic bombs, an attack weapon against robots, to suppress the Galatron floating cannon. Mebius found that, although the opponent was suppressed, his defense was really high. Sevenger's reckless fighting style could only make Galatron unable to lift his head, but so far, apart from a few scars cut by himself, the biggest damage left to Galatron was really a layer of paint being scraped off. Mebius has realized that it is difficult to kill him in this state, and is looking for a prop from Hikaru's breath that can quickly turn the tide of the battle and let the balance of victory fall on him. But at this moment, the Galatron core suddenly flashed with light, and the next second the purple-red core on Galatron's chest turned black and red. Data collection is complete. Start to formulate a counterattack plan. Counterattack begins. Then, when Sevenger rolled to the position of Galatron's chest, a magic shield instantly unfolded. The next second, the flame explosion and impact shook Sevenger away. In the shock of Mebius, Galatron used the Galatron axis on the back of his head to prop up his body. Mebius swung his sword and slashed it, but the seemingly extremely fragile golden plastic tube had an extremely strong defense, and Mebius's attack was ignored again. Mebius, cat is shocked. JPG The seemingly fragile Galatron axis actually has super strong defense. The special soft rubber structure can allow it to resist 99% of physical impact. The axis of Galatron instantly exploded with amazing power and speed, hitting Mebius' chest directly and knocking Mebius out. Even with the protection of the chest armor, Mebius was still seriously injured after being hit head-on. Mebius estimated that, if it was his back without armor protection that was hit, he would have lost his combat effectiveness. When he raised his head, he saw that Galatron's chest in front of him began to accumulate energy again. No. We can't let the other party launch this attack. What Mebius realized, Bang Hongren also realized. Ultraman, please use the strongest attack on that core. Bang Hongren shouted with all his strength, and Mebius heard Bang Hongren's voice. Faced with a request of a new life that he met for the first time, and a request on a life and death battlefield, what should Mebius do? Mebius began to prepare his strongest move without hesitation. Although it was the first time for them to meet, Mebius had a feeling that Bang Hongren was the one he wanted to choose, and that he was another self in the world. He believed in Hongren. Hongren roared, and he controlled the machine he was riding to fly around Galatron less than 30 meters away. Hongren could clearly see the black and gold armor coating on Galatron, and the terrifying murderous aura made Hongren shudder. If this kind of monster fell on the earth. No, never. Galatron wanted to fight the bug away, but the scene when he was hit by a combo from Mebius appeared again. Sevenger took a set of Galatron sparks, which only caused some scratches on the heavy armor. It came up again and tightly controlled the sword of Galatron. Sevenger, I don't have anything. I don't have the separation and fusion of King Joe, the status of Uindum. Note 1. The infinite repair of the unparalleled Iron God Impreza, the terrifying origin of King Gran, the D4A of the special space machine number 4 Mecha Zero, and the cool appearance and magic effects of U Galatron. What I have is just this layer of armor that can withstand countless attacks. Where is Galatron's floating gun? It's still tied up. Let's go together, Ultraman. Finally, at the critical moment, the body directly hits Galatron's core. Hiroto's father had already burst into tears, but he did not ask Hiroto to come back. Instead, he commanded the battlefield with a trembling voice. Everyone, suppress the monster's right arm at all costs. Be sure to buy enough time for the Ultra Warriors. Mebius pressed a button, and a golden spear full of technology appeared in Mebius's hand. Meteor spear, Kangune. Cut through the night sky and bring light. Go. Target the core of Galatron's chest. The golden spear turned into a meteor and pierced through the sky, tearing through the night sky and Galatron's terrifying armor. The core of Galatron's chest looked like it was exposing its weakness to the enemy, but in fact, the armor of its core was the strongest part of the entire machine, and it was immune to 99% of light damage. This was a modification specifically made for Ultraman. But this range of damage immunity obviously does not include the legendary Meteor Spear, the Norse god King Odin's god king weapon, the branch of the world tree, and the eternal spear Kangune. The golden spear pierced Galatron's core, and the black sanctions and the dragon of disaster that brought destruction finally stopped their activities. The Galatron floating gun in the distance fell heavily to the ground, splashing a large piece of red dust unique to Mars. The eternal spear turned into data and returned to the aura of Hikari, and the battle was over. Father. Hiroto's voice sounded in the communication channel. Hiroto? Captain Ban was stunned for a moment, then immediately looked up at the sky. There, Ban Hangren's plane emergency cabin stopped in midair, next to Mebius. Hiroto. You stinky boy. You scared your father to death. The base erupted in cheers like a tsunami, and Captain Ban's assistant hurriedly stepped forward to help Captain Ban up. This stinky boy, Hiroto, I will punish you to copy the crew rules 100 times. Not 10,000 times. No. Father Mebius looked at the cheering crowd on the ground, and Hiroto beside him. He clearly felt something. It was something that connected them together invisibly. Ultra Warrior. Hiroto pointed his escape pod towards Mebius, and only then did he see the full appearance of Mebius. Mebius, my name is Mebius. Mebius passed his name to Hiroto through ultra telekinesis. Mebius, Ultraman. My name is Hiroto Ban, an earthling born on Mars. Hiroto, your courage has touched me. Hiroto was looking at Mebius, and Mebius was also looking at Hiroto. He made a request to Hiroto. I hope you can become. Before he finished speaking, a red laser instantly hit the escape pod. The colorful magic circle instantly unfolded in the air. Mebius instinctively stretched out his hand to rescue the escape pod in the magic circle, but the next second, he was blown away by the terrifying explosion. Hero. Captain Ban's eyes went dark, and he passed out. Under great joy and sorrow, the poor old man could no longer support his body. Hiroto. Mebius' body knocked down a warehouse where the specium material was stored. He stretched out a hand, but Hiroto's figure had disappeared forever in the explosion. Mebius supported himself painfully in the specium substance. He couldn't believe that the bond he had just made with the Earthlings was gone at this moment. He looked in the direction of the laser, and the Mebius light blade in his hand appeared with anger that had turned into substance. Unforgivable. What Mebius saw was Galatron, whose chest core had just been destroyed by him. Iron God system activated. Core repair completed. Ultra Warrior data collection completed. Battle analysis system activated. Ultra Killer template activated. Ultra Killer template superposition completed. High temperature armor enhancement. Weapon mode modification. Melee. Weapon activation. MK2 template overlay. Blockade network activated. Blockade network activated. The planet has been blocked. Judgment procedure activated. The Galatron floating gun in the distance turned into data information and returned to Galatron's body. A black magic circle that could cover Galatron lit up 30 meters above Galatron's head. The next second, the black magic circle illuminated Galatron from top to bottom. A brand new enemy appeared in front of Mebius. People of the land of light, humans, you have no way to escape. I'm the judge of the Empire Galatron. For the glory of the Empire, I will wipe out all life forms that do not submit to the will of the Emperor. Begin the Great Judgment. Note 1. Although Sevenger is now in a very high position with all kinds of soft plastic, handmade, SHF, and EX being produced continuously, and the Ultra series of robots ranking first in popularity, and there was a period of time when they were directly sold out, but before Zeta, Sevenger could be said to be a little transparent. If it weren't for Mr. Tagachi, Sevenger would still be gathering dust now. Chapter 966, Meeting on Earth. On Earth, In the guy's special reception room, a unique meeting was underway. The guy's general chairman, along with a group of guy's senior officials, special envoys from various countries, and even heads of state from several countries were waiting to receive a person. This level of reception was unprecedented. Everyone was sitting here anxiously, waiting for the meeting between the two men on the rooftop to end. On the rooftop of the guy's base, two men were having a unique meeting. However, rather than a meeting, it was more like a meeting between two old friends who had not seen each other for a long time. Sakamizu looked at the middle-aged man in a linen robe. Even though he was calm and steady, his tone was filled with uncontrollable excitement. At that time, the sublight-speed test ship Emi was conducting its fourth trial voyage. When it crossed the orbit of Pluto, it was attacked by the disk of the Zetans. You appeared and saved me. At that moment, I thought I had seen a god. At that time, you told me that you were looking forward to seeing you again. I thought the next time I would see you might be in the endless galaxy, or that we humans might travel 3 million light years to the Ultra Star, but I never thought that I would meet you on Earth. Zoffy. Fate is always full of uncertainty, Sakamizu. The man in the linen robe was Zoffy in human form. Looking at the calm and peaceful city in front of him, he told Sakamizu a piece of news. If nothing unexpected happens, the new Ultra Warrior, Mebius, who is about to arrive on Earth, should be the last warrior we send to Earth. The people on Earth now have the power to build their own shields and can master it perfectly. The Earth no longer needs the protection of us Ultra Warriors. Humans have finally done this with their own strength, just like you got there with your own strength back then. Yes. Sakyamu nodded and said, I think, in my lifetime, I will have the opportunity to travel between the planets side by side with you. Definitely. I'm looking forward to that day, Sakyamu. In just 1,000 years, you have entered the era of interstellar navigation from exploring your own planet, and in 40 years, your changes are even more incredible to us. I think we will have the opportunity to travel between the stars side by side. Zoffy said with a smile. Before that, I ask you to take good care of our rookie warrior, Mebius. No problem. This is what we should do. In places we don't know, at times we don't know, it was you who blocked enemies we didn't know for us, and protected the ignorant humans at that time. Sakimu's eyes became firm, and he said the words that had been buried in his heart for many years. We humans also want to respond to your wishes and the wishes of the Ultra Warriors. At this moment, Zoffy suddenly looked up at the sky, which was the location of Mars. Mebius had a battle on Mars. Mars? There is a pioneering base there, mainly used to collect specium materials. Sakyamu said, 5 years ago, the Mars mining base was attacked by the Namekus. It is said that several base staff members died in that disaster. With Mebius's strength, it should be able to deal with some space monsters, but if it is Bemonston. Zoffy turned to Sakyamu and said, I'm sorry, it seems that our time together will come to an end for the time being. Well, you must stay longer next time you come to Earth. I will treat you to soba noodles. Sure, my friend. In the dazzling light, Zoffy turned into a stream of light and left, showing his original figure outside the atmosphere. After Ultraman becomes a human body, he needs a prop that can activate the power of light to transform into an Ultra Warrior again, but the powerful Zoffy does not need it. The silver giant flew to Mars, while on Earth, a group of people rushed to the rooftop and surrounded Sakyamu to inquire about the situation. After learning about Zoffy's departure, that was Zoffy, the Ultraman from the Kingdom of Light. Mr. Sakyamu. A congressman pushed aside a group of superiors and representatives from various countries and rushed to Sakyamu and asked excitedly, Zoffy, did he really leave? Yes, there was something wrong at the Mars base, and he went to check it out. After hearing this, the congressman retreated, his eyes full of disappointment. Mr. Chiba was saved by Zoffy when he was a child. He heard that Zoffy was coming, so he flew back from America overnight. A guy's senior official who was familiar with Mr. Chiba apologized to the person he pushed away and followed him to explain. He just wanted to say thank you to Zoffy in person. At that time, I was attacked by the volcanic bird Barton in the hospital. It was Zoffy who saved us, and he even gave his life for it. I must thank him in person. Mr. Chiba's words resonated with many people present. The oldest among them was an old man from the COD team, and even fought side by side with Ultraman. Zofie flew towards Mars. With the information he received here, Zofie became more and more worried, and began to fly faster. Mebius is the best young warrior of this session, and this statement is not empty talk. It can be said that what Mebius lacks is the experience of life and death battles. Mebius, who is full of fighting, light, and actual combat, has also completed several missions with the large army. At this time, Mebius has already started Sevenger. Zofie knew a little about how strong that big weight was, and the enemy who could force Mebius to ask for help must be at least at the level of Bimonston. The next second Zofie panicked. He saw the information that Mebius used the Eternal Spear gun. This is a forbidden weapon that Hikari specifically instructed, and its lethality is not less than Ace's Ultra Guillotine. Mebius is not a child who gives up easily. The enemy who can make him use the Eternal Spear. Could it be Tyrant? Thinking of this, Zofie's flying speed increased again, but there is indeed a distance between Mars and the Earth. Even if Zofie speeds up again and again, accelerating to sublight speed mode, he still needs about 3 minutes to get to Mars. And the signal from Mars needs some time difference to be transmitted, and the battle over there may have ended. So Zofie dared not neglect it, and he had to fly over to take a look no matter what. Although Hikari told himself that he had built 300 life solidification devices into the Hikari aura he gave to Mebius, the life solidification device was by no means omnipotent. If the enemy was too strong, the life solidification device could not be saved. For example, if it was swallowed by Tyrant, even 3000 life solidification devices would be swallowed up by Tyrant. Mebius, hold on no matter what. Mebius. Chapter 967, The Eternal Disaster and the Dragon of Punishment. Mebius rushed towards Galatron Mk2 holding the Mebius lightsaber. He saw Galatron Mk2 raise the black and gold giant axe in his hand. Then he felt a huge impact on his waist. Mebius looked at Sevenger who pushed him away. Sevenger looked at him. The next second, a black and gold giant axe turned into a whirlwind and passed through Sevenger's body. Boom. A huge explosion burst out from Sevenger's body, and Mebius was blown away again, and Sevenger's body was torn into pieces. When Mebius supported himself in great pain, he only saw Sevenger's eyes fill in front of him. Sevenger, Hungren. The black and gold giant axe returned to Galatron Mk2's hand. Galatron Mk2 raised his left arm horizontally, and several lasers fell towards the Mars base. Mebius flew in front of the Mars base, and used his body to block the deadly laser for the humans in the Mars base. Sparks flew everywhere, cracks appeared on the chest armor of Mebius, and there were countless black burnt spots. Boom. Galatron Mk2 took heavy steps towards Mebius. Human fighter planes and chariots once again fired laser missiles at Galatron Mk2, but they were intercepted by the opponent. Run. Mebius collapsed to the ground. The laser had a special power that could seal the light particles in his body. At this moment, he could only use Ultramania. Mebius used Ultramania to send his voice to all humans. Run. His target is me. Run. This is definitely not an enemy you can resist. Run. After seeing Sevenger being killed by Galatron Mk2 in one move, Mebius knew that the monster in front of him was definitely not something he could deal with, let alone humans. This overwhelming force would be useless, even if he used all the remaining 2 Eternal Spears. The opponent's body can repair itself. After the core of the chest was pierced by the Eternal Spear, it was completely repaired in less than 30 seconds, and it became stronger. The opponent's previous form was not a combat form at all, but was collecting its own data and specifying a combat plan. All non-combat personnel in the base should evacuate immediately. The commander-in-chief of the Mars base immediately ordered, evacuate immediately. Go to other refuge bases. Fighter pilots and tank drivers, listen up. Now start the free combat mode. Those who are willing to stay can stay, and those who are unwilling to stay can run for their lives. The commander-in-chief knew very well that the opponent's strength was not something they could deal with at all. The strength of this black and gold dragon of disaster was completely crushing against them. What they needed to do now was not to think about how to win, but to evacuate as many people as possible. Fighting to the death was just a useless sacrifice. There are still several other refuges on the Mars base. Galatron's blockade is only aimed at the sky. Maybe they can escape to other refuge bases. What's more, the fighter planes in the base are all modified from reconnaissance planes. The only main force is the Mars tank group. However, even the tanks equipped with heavy firepower have sent data in the previous battle. The firepower of our side can only scrape the paint when facing the opponent's armor. The current battle only increases casualties. But no one chose to evacuate. All the planes stayed in front of Mebius, forming a plane wall in front of Mebius and the base. I have been looking forward to becoming a pilot since I was a child and then fighting with the Ultra Warriors. Now that the opportunity has come, how can I run away? What are you talking about? This is our base. Our hard work. How can we let this ugly monster destroy it? Mom, I can't go home to accompany you. Take care. Davarish, Mars is big, but we have no way to retreat. Behind us is the base and the Ultra Warriors. I really want to breathe the air on Earth again. Come on. Monster. Bastard. This is the courage of us humans. The emergency evacuation order did not stop. Captain Ban had ordered all personnel to retreat quickly long before. Now 1/3 of the non-combatants in the base have been evacuated, but 2/3 of them have not left. General Commander, please leave. The assistant to the General Commander said, I will stay here to command. Leave. No, I will evacuate last. You can retreat now. But, this is an order. Don't worry, I will be fine with the Ultra Warriors here. The General Commander took out the old-fashioned gunpowder pistol stored in his drawer and loaded the pistol. You must trust me and the Ultra Warriors. I'm a combatant of the Land Tiger Mad team. The Martian tank group was divided into two groups. One group threw out a hook to try to slow down the advance of the Galatron Mk2, and the other group also threw out a hook, but this time their target was Mebius. I didn't expect that. After dragging the goods for so many years, there would be a day when I would have to drag Ultra Warriors. Lulunsi would regret it if he knew. He dreams of meeting Ultra Warriors. My father would be so envious of me if he knew he never dragged Ultra Warriors when he was in Zat. Everyone, full power. Save our heroes. Ultra Warriors. Fighters, listen to the order. Full fire. Saturation cover. Arsehole. Stop making up words out of thin air. The fighters opened fire. Lasers, missiles, and physical ammunition continuously fell on the magic shield in front of Galatron Mk2. Galatron Mk2 walked towards Mebius with a black gold giant axe in his hand. Human firepower was insignificant to him. Galatron Mk2 raised his arm laser and irradiated Mebius again. This time, two fighters of unknown models helped Mebius block the two deadly lasers. Galatron Mk2 felt that it could not kill the enemy quickly if it continued like this. Seeing that Mebius had lost the ability to move, he gathered energy in his chest. Galatron Mk2 Spark Blast. Because the melee template was activated, the Spark Blast not only had a lower power and hit rate, but also took longer to charge. However, when the charge was completed, it could easily kill the Ultra Warrior. Fire. Fire at the opponent's chest core. Intercept this move at all costs. Mebius looked at the group of fighters in front of him, the group of tanks that used their lives to drag Galatron Mk2 forward, and the group of tanks that separated him from the battlefield. They were all just ordinary humans, and they could not cause any damage to Galatron Mk2. Galatron Mk2's target was him, and humans could escape, as long as they fled in all directions. But not only did they not escape, but they used their lives to block Galatron Mk2, and some humans even sacrificed themselves to separate him from the battlefield. Is this the important thing? At this moment, the light in Mebius' body was ignited, and the flame burned in his heart. The flame from his heart broke through the blockade of the laser, and allowed Mebius to regain the ability to move. Kungune. The Eternal Spear Kungune appeared in Mebius' hand again. This time, the fire of Mebius' soul burned on Kungune. Mebius gently shook open the hook of the Mars chariot and threw out the flaming spear with all his strength. Go. The fiery meteor observed the chest of Galatron Mk2 again. Unlike the first direct penetration, the fire of the soul attached to the Eternal Spear caused a violent explosion after the penetration this time. The terrifying high temperature completely annihilated Galatron's upper body. Did it succeed? Mebius and all the humans present were looking forward to it. They were waiting for the other party to fall. Boom. Failed. Galatron's left leg glowed purple black, and the black gold magic circle scanned from bottom to top, and Galatron returned to its original form. I'm Galatron. I represent the will of the Emperor. I'm invincible. For the glory of the Empire, I will wipe out all life forms that do not follow the Emperor's will. Let's talk about the components of this Galatron's combat power. The body of the Galatron prototype, the one that Orb first appeared in. It's not an exaggeration to say that the Galatron that Orb first appeared in was killed by gods and Buddhas. It's just what he deserved. If Orb hadn't turned on the Dark Glory Mad Dog mode, I guess Origin would have had a hard time destroying this guy. The repair system of the unparalleled Iron God Impreza, that thing's repair ability is comparable to that of the alien beast. It can be repaired infinitely, unless the repair system is destroyed, or the entire body is completely destroyed. This is still slightly weakened. The part that was annihilated by high temperature cannot be restored, so the armor is smaller. My setting is that Galatron has a magic space. Anyway, it is normal to have multiple storage rings, because there are magic circles. The metals for repair are taken from the magic circle, and Galatron can refine the repair materials himself. As long as he is given enough time, he will be as good as new. The Baite people personally modified it, and the Yabo people gave it to Ultra Killer as a friendly gift. I tell you, it's thanks to the buff of Ultra Killer, otherwise Xiaomeng would have been beaten even worse. Isn't this thanks to the Yabo people? Chapter 968, Zophie arrives. Despair filled everyone's heart. The energy indicator light on Mebius' chest had already lit up red, and his knees softened, and he fell to the ground. At this moment, despair filled everyone's mind. Everyone, don't give up. The voice on the radio was transmitted to the communication channel of all the survivors. The opponent's armor has been severely damaged. The original giant blade has now become a small dagger. The opponent has been so seriously injured that his strength is no longer as good as before. As long as we hold on, victory will definitely belong to us. The commander-in-chief's voice was like a shot of powerful stimulant that hit everyone's heart. Yes, Galatron's armor has weakened, and even the paint is only black on the legs, and the body has turned back to silver white. Galatron is not invincible. Everyone. We have sacrificed so many people, we can't let everyone's sacrifice go to waste. Zah. Mebius roared, and the commander-in-chief's voice also gave him a shot of cardiotonic. He still has one last chance to use Kunguni, and he still has a spare life, and he can burn again. Boom boom boom. Galatron did not give Mebius this opportunity. The laser guns on his arms fired crazily, pressing Mebius so that he could not raise his head. My ammunition reserves are insufficient. In 3 seconds, all fighters with 0 ammunition reserves will conduct a shield wall defense, and the rest of the fighters will provide artillery cover. This is the last time I will give an order. The commander of the fighter group issued an order in a calm and indifferent voice on the communication channel. Everyone, see you in the next life. No. Mebius heard the voice of the fighter commander. The other party wanted to use the lives of dozens of fighter pilots to win him a chance to attack. At this time, a familiar light force appeared in Mebius's perception range. The silver and red figure folded his hands from high in the sky, and a ray of spacium hit Galatron's head, directly blowing the silver-white head black. The sudden attack made Galatron stop the laser in his hand, and began to scan the source of the attack, so that the fighter pilot was able to save his life. That's it. It's Zophie. Zophie, Captain. Mebius saw Zophie coming. He was already on the verge of death due to the crazy bombing of Galatron. He was supported by the courage and belief of humans to sacrifice for him. Finally, he collapsed to the ground. The energy light on his chest went out, and the light in his eyes faded. Mebius. Zophie fell to the ground, and saw that Mebius was dead, so he could only focus on the powerful enemy in front of him. Scan completed. Zophie, the captain of the Space Guard of the Kingdom of Light, is extremely powerful, and will most likely summon other powerful Ultra Warriors. Danger level, Galaxy level plus. Analyze zone status. Analysis completed. Half disabled. Analyze enemy status. Analysis completed. Energy slightly depleted. Predict a chance of victory. 0.000000002% retreat. 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 Galatron ejected one of his left arms. Zoffi directly used the specium ray to shoot the ejected left arm of Galatron, but at the same time, the black and gold magic circle swept across Galatron's body, and Galatron disappeared. Looking at the devastated Mars base, countless fallen and shard fighters and chariots, as well as those humans who looked at him with admiration and Mebius lying on the ground, Zoffi's heart could not calm down. Emperor Starman Zoffi strode to Mebius' side, took off the Hickory aura, and tapped a few times to unlock the internal storage space. Under the control of ultra telekinesis, dozens of rays of light flew out of Hickory's aura and flew into the bodies of those who died in the previous battle. Zoffi used ultra telekinesis to bring these people to a safe area to ensure that they would not be harmed again after resurrection. Finally, Zoffi used the vitality and the life solidification technology to revive Mebius, who died of exhaustion. Captain Zoffi, you did a great job, Mebius. I saw it from the records of Hickory's aura. Zoffi nodded approvingly. Even if he were to face a terrifying mechanical monster like Galatron, it would be difficult for him to defeat it, unless it was in an empty and unmanned space. Zoffi was telling the truth. He could see Galatron's strength clearly from the data of Hickory's aura. Although he didn't know when the Emperor Star got such a terrifying robot, the other party's tone was definitely the product of Emperor. For the glory of the Empire, follow the will of the Emperor. At present, only Emperor has the strength and confidence to say such words, while eliminating such a terrifying robot in the entire universe. Captain Zoffi, Hiroto Zoffi saw the previous battle, and witnessed Hiroto's courage and sacrifice. He is a brave man, but there is nothing I can do. Zoffi's words shattered Mebius' hope, and Mebius knelt on the ground in pain. This may be the first time he has experienced the loss of a close partner. Yes, the first time. When he was in the Land of Light, his actions were all following the large force, and even if a team member was seriously injured, he could be resurrected with full blood under the powerful technology of the Land of Light. Mebius's concept of death, apart from the monsters and aliens who were killed, was only the words of the experienced old warriors in the team. And here, Mars, his first battle alone. He faced an extremely brutal battle, and witnessed with his own eyes that the young man from Earth, named Hiroto, was annihilated on Mars by the spark impact of Galatron, without even a particle of light left. Mebius. Zoffi squatted down and supported Mebius with both hands. We Ultra Warriors are not omnipotent gods. We also have things we can't do. This is something that every mature warrior will experience, but we can't hesitate because of pain. Look. Zoffi's finger pointed in another direction. Mebius looked in the direction of Zoffi's hand and saw only the previous fighter plane and tank pilots, the people in the base who had not yet evacuated, and the people who had just flown away and started to return here. They gathered there and looked at the two. I'm sorry. I failed to protect the base, and I made you make a huge sacrifice. Mebius lowered his head in pain to apologize, his heart full of guilt. Look up. Ultra Warriors. The commander-in-chief took out a loudspeaker and shouted to Mebius, look at us. Mebius subconsciously followed the commander-in-chief's words. Guys, Mars number 2 mining base, all personnel listen to the order. Salute our comrades, the Ultra Warriors from the Kingdom of Light. Chapter 969. May you live happily every day on Earth in the future. All the existing personnel of the Mars mining base, whether combatants or non-combatants, gathered here to pay their most sincere respects to Mebius. Please don't do this. Mebius panicked. He didn't think he was worthy of the salute from the people of the Mars base, let alone the title of hero. You are our comrade. You are a hero who protected us with your life. Ultra Warrior from the Land of Light, you deserve our respect. If it weren't for your desperate fight, this base would have been razed to the ground by Galatron. It was you who saved this place with your life. If Zoffi hadn't come, we would have died, but if you hadn't come, more of us would have died. Mebius. Zoffi squatted beside Mebius and gently patted Mebius' shoulder with one hand. We can't be omniscient and omnipotent. Even the King of Ultra can't do it, but we can do the best within our capabilities and exceed our limits. For those who have passed away, we must respect and miss them, and for those who survived, we must cherish them. Zoffi helped Mebius up and took him to return the gift to the humans at the Mars mining base and Mebius's comrades. When the two Ultras returned the gift, the entire Mars mining base erupted in unprecedented cheers. Looking at the humans in front of him who were cheering for him and for themselves, Mebius felt many emotions that he had never thought of in the land of light. Are you still willing to continue this mission? But I have lost my second life. Facing this honest child, Zoffy naturally has his own way. I brought you and the lives of the humans who died before to life by myself, not yours. Mebius clicked on the hickory aura, and sure enough, the indicator light showing the second life was still on. Captain Zoffy, I want to stay here. Mebius bravely expressed his thoughts. Oh, why? I want to fight here in place of Hiroto who died before, and take on Hiroto's responsibilities. Mebius' words gradually reduced the cheers of the humans below. Some of them were even more excited. An Ultra Warrior became their colleague, but more people looked a little unnatural. Replacement, Hiroto? This kind of thing is not something new, and I can decide. You must first obtain the approval of Hiroto's parents. Yes. Mebius nodded and turned into a human body. The appearance is exactly the same as Hiroto who just died in the battle. Seeing the current Mebius, the people were silent. Captain ITA almost fainted again when he saw Mebius who had turned into Hiroto. Fortunately, Captain ITA held on. Captain ITA looked at the face that was exactly the same as Hiroto who had just passed away, tears flashing in his eyes. If this was really Hiroto, how great it would be. But Captain ITA knew very well that Hiroto was already dead, and even Zoffy couldn't save Hiroto. Please go back. Please take back this look. Please. Mebius, Ultraman is confused. JPG, is there anything I didn't do well? Mebius was at a loss for a moment. In addition to teaching him how to fight, Taro only mentioned the Earth in a few words. Facing the Earth, Mebius was as simple as a freshly baked blank sheet of paper. Although he didn't know why this happened, Mebius knew that he had done something wrong. Although he didn't know where he was wrong, Mebius could only use Hikari's aura to transform back into the posture of an Ultraman. For a moment, Mebius was a little overwhelmed. Let's go to Earth. Zoffy said to Mebius, on Earth, you will slowly understand. Yes. Captain Zoffy, what about Mars? Someone will come here to patrol. We will try to send more people to the solar system. Yes. Mebius looked at the devastated Mars base. He will always remember this place, and will always remember the brave Earth boy who died because of his negligence. Earth. Captain Ban only heard the conversation between the two AOS. Zoffy and Mebius did not open the team microphone for the conversation, but shouted on the public screen. The people in the Mars base heard it clearly. Commander-in-Chief, I want to borrow your things. The Commander-in-Chief did not ask any more questions, but silently handed the loudspeaker in his hand to Captain Ban. Please wait a moment. Captain Ban called out to Mebius, who was about to fly away. I can understand your behavior, and I also see the kindness in your heart. But I cannot accept you living with me as Hiroto. I'm so sorry. Mebius bowed his head and said, from now on, I will never use that form again. No, when you reach the Earth, you will also need a human appearance. Captain Ban took a deep breath, but the tears on his face could not stop flowing down. When you reach the Earth, please continue to use that form. Please replace Hiroto who failed to set foot on the Earth's land and set foot on the Earth's homeland, so that Hiroto can go home in another way. I'm so sorry. Mebius saw the tears on Captain Ban's face. He was at a loss, and could only keep bowing and apologizing. Zoffy put his hand on Mebius's shoulder, and told him through the team private message, Captain Ban is not crying because of you. May you be happy every day in the future on Earth. After the voice fell, Captain Ban returned the loudspeaker to the Commander-in-Chief and left alone. In the future, every day. In the end, Mebius left with Zoffy. When Mebius arrived at the location of the moon, he saw the whole picture of the Earth. Is this the Earth? Yes, it's a very beautiful planet. Looking at the beautiful blue planet in front of him, Mebius remembered the great judgment mentioned by Galatron, and the planet destroyed by the Dark Army that he had seen in the database of the Kingdom of Light. I will definitely protect this planet. I will never let the tragedy on Mars happen again on this beautiful planet. Well, go. Zoffy watched Mebius leave. According to the information left by Zoffy, Mebius turned into Hiroto and came to the Earth, then found Sakumi Shingo and obtained the identity on the Earth under Sakumi's arrangement. Then, what should I fill in the name? Should I call you by your name in the Kingdom of Light? Mebius? Sakami asked. No. Mebius shook his head seriously, and Captain Ita's words rang in his mind again. Hibino Mirai. That's my name on Earth. Hibino Mirai? What a good name. Chapter 970. Break time ends. Welcome back. Playing in 1 minute. Ultraman Trigger. The Flowers We Bloom. Part 2. Wow. 3 days went by really quickly. Peter greeted everyone skillfully. Suddenly, he saw Hikari sitting on the sofa with a tired look on his face, not saying a word. Mr. Hikari, what's wrong with you? Ah, it's nothing. I'm just a little tired. Hikari said, I've been busy with a small project these days. What's wrong? Did your Ultra King give you another advanced topic about the multiverse? Tony put his hand on Hikari's shoulder and said, if you ask me, why don't you come to my world to work for me? You can ask for any salary you want. Haha, if there is a chance, I will consider it. Hikari replied with a smile. Taro asked Tarikia and me to build a spiritual training platform. He accepted a little apprentice in another world, but the battle between the Kingdom of Light and the Dark Empire of the Enpola people is imminent, and Taro is very busy, so he commissioned me to build a device that can help his little apprentice practice. Another world? Bruce also came over. Have you finally started to explore the other world? No, that child's situation is very special. Hikari explained. In his world, it may be a coincidence, or it may be an accident. Anyway, he established a mental connection with Taro through the power of Ultra Dharmakaya, and he can communicate with Taro across countless worlds through Taro's Dharmakaya. There is such a thing. Yes, I have done some research on the power of Dharmakaya and mental power, and I have also developed some small things that can be transmitted into the sea of consciousness. Taro wants to entrust me to build a mental training ground. At that time, some of the Ultra Warrior's fighting skills will be implanted into it, and then I can teach on his behalf. Is that so? Peter nodded. Then count me in as a share. Peter passed a ray of his light to Hikari. This is my share of light data. Give this share of my power to that child as well. Well, thank you, Peter. Is it possible to transmit information across the world through mental power? Bruce discovered new knowledge. The vibration I mentioned before in the Dark Knights is the only means. It seems that it is slightly different in other universes. Speaking of this, they also thought of Strange's nightmare card. It was obvious that the card had brought terrible consequences. For example, Strange still spoke frequently in the screening room, but they always felt that Strange's presence had decreased. And Thanos, he was the same. The video continues. Earth, how is Jianwu? In the infirmary of the Nastis, Jiming also rushed in. There is still no sign of improvement. The disabled man looked at the various data and was about to cry anxiously. Jianwu's physical data shows that he is very healthy, healthier than me, but no matter how I shout, it's useless. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have scolded him because he splashed the water for watering the flowers on the ground. Seeing that the disabled man was about to cry, Jiming closed his eyes and took a deep breath, then forced a smile and walked in front of the disabled man and began to comfort him. Don't worry, Zenren. Jianwu is Ultraman Trigger, the savior who defeated the evil god. He will be fine. Yuming and Zenren looked at each other, stretched out his index fingers, and pushed the corners of Zenren's mouth upwards. Jianwu definitely doesn't want to see you like this, right? Smell us. Yeah. Oh no, everyone. Malulu rushed into the room, gasping for breath and shouting, monsters. A lot of monsters appeared in the city. What? Damn, it actually chose this time. The Nastis and Victory Falcon were repaired, and Jianwu and Ignis happened to be unconscious. Zanren was more convinced that this was definitely a conspiracy. Look, there is an alien in the city. The city. Several monsters were wreaking havoc here, and at this time, 4 bronze giant swords fell from the sky and inserted everywhere, forming a ring here. The alien in skin appeared. Is he the mastermind behind this time? No, his target is the monster. The cosmic man threw his cape and shouted loudly, I'm the strongest fighting champion in the universe. Gurgle. The Iron Demon Gears. Gears looked at the monsters in front of him and stretched his muscles. Well, before the duel with the legendary super ancient light giant, Ultraman Trigger, just use you to warm up and show your strength. The countdown to despair has officially begun. Corn monster. Cough. It was the skeleton monster Red King who took the lead in the battle. Girls shouted and went forward to fight. Girls sees the distance difference, and before the two sides officially approached, relying on his long legs and the opponent's shorter arms and legs, he took the lead in kicking Red King in the stomach, giving the opponent a first-hand blow, while gaining the center of gravity in the battle. Then he suppressed Red King with 3 punches and 2 kicks, and then 2 straight punches directly knocked Red King back. Come on, come on. Girls taunted Red King, and the effect was outstanding. Faced with a Red King who rushed over because of the taunt, Girls grabbed the opponent's neck and used his body as the center to drive Red King's body to rotate, and finally threw Red King out directly. But the next second, Girls couldn't hold on. He let out a painful wail, as if he suddenly got a stitch in the side during intense exercise, and Red King seized this opportunity and crashed into him directly. Just before the two sides were about to collide, a red ball fell from the sky and knocked Red King away. Thank you for your hard work. A voice came from the red ball. Leave the destruction of monsters to professionals. You are the legendary monster exorcist. Girls looked at the figure in front of him wearing a sturdy red and silver outfit, the beginning of everything, and said this name that has been passed down from generation to generation in the universe. Ultraman. Girls left the stage, and now it's the special show of Ultra Warriors. Ultraman once again faced Red King, and the other Ultraman also chose their opponents. So many Ultraman. The disabled were stunned, and so was YUI. Thanks to these Ultra Warriors. Malulu said thoughtfully, otherwise, these monsters must have been dealt with by Kengo alone. Isn't there, Ignis? Yes, I forgot. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 971. I'm the ultimate life form, Absolute Diablo. You have become stronger, Libert. Maximum and Libert team up to fight against the underground monster Guden. Well, it's been a long time since I fought side by side with you, Maximum. A long time ago, when Libert was still a newcomer, the veteran who was responsible for leading him was Maximum. The relationship between the two can be called both a teacher and a friend. Zero and Zeta, the master and apprentice pair, faced off against the Hanged Man's neighbor. It seems that everyone here seems to be the Hanged Man's neighbor, the underground monster bugs. Fighting side by side with Master Zero. Ultra is super excited just thinking about it. How many times have I told you, I'm not your master. I have no intention of caring about this half-hearted apprentice. Even if you die outside one day, I won't be a little bit sad. Master Zero, you are so serious. Yahoo, let's prove it to Master Zero. Okay, come on. Zeta. Cosmic boxing, secret technique. Yahoo took out the Zeta sublimation device and a set of medals. Hiruki, the master with the face of Evelyn. Zeta sublimator, Zero. Hiruki, the master who drives a jeep. Zeta sublimator, 7. Hiruki, the master being chased by a jeep. Zeta sublimator, Leo. Os. Say my name. Ultraman, Z. Ultraman, Z. Ultraman Zeta, Alpha Boxer. Just as Superman Zero watched Superman as be to a minimum in the form of the medals of himself, his father and his master. By that time, Ultraman had already solved the battle. Ultraman looked at King Red who was thrown to death by his two shoulders, and lamented that the monsters in this universe are really hard to fight. You fell down, before I even used the 8-point Nimbus. Forget it, there's a Tyrant Stone over there, let's take care of it together. Ultraman directly rode on Tyrant Stone, and beat him violently, then turned over, and punched Tyrant Stone 3 times on the head. Finally, when Tyrant Stone was stunned, he rolled away, and stood up straight. The waist plate throws an 8-point light wheel. The 8-point light wheel was bounced back to Ultraman by Tyrant Stone's head. At the moment, when the 8-point light wheel was about to touch his face, Ultraman's instantaneous specium beam and the 8-point light wheel all hit Tyrant. On Stone. Tyrant Stone died. You never know whether the first generation will hit you with his fist or instantly cast Specium's ray in the next second. Din looked confused as his opponent was defeated by the first generation. Speaking of which, Master Zero, who are you calling? Ah, this is it. Dinah also heard Zeta's words, and Dinah smiled and said, the opponent we called, then only him. That's right. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded, Cosmos. Senior Gorse. The blue and silver Ultraman represents the love of the universe. Brave. Ultraman Gorse. Full Moon Light Wave. Promoted by the full moon light wave, the irritable Guden and bugs calmed down and returned to the underground. At the same time, in the time gap, as a golden portal opened, a burly Tauran walked out of it. Who are you? It's you. Telega called out the other person's name, Absolute Diavolo. Absolute. Why do you have a horn? It should be the devil's horn. Constantine suddenly said, the name Diablo means devil. In Spanish, Diablo does mean devil, but the Absolute family. The name has nothing to do with Earth culture. Bruce pointed out, if the name of Hikari is pronounced in Japanese, it also means the country of light. Faced with Bruce's rebuttal, Constantine expressed his emotional stability. Who knows? Video continues. This time we can eliminate 2 obstructive Ultra Warriors in one go. What a rare opportunity. Diavolo shouted, it should have been, when you were exhausted. This space was destroyed along with it, but I never saw you fighting, so I deliberately provoked you, and induced you to fight. Did you summon Gatan G2? Of course it was me. It's gone. The horns on Diavolo's head lit up with a golden light, and in the next second golden thunder and lightning sent away the Kyrielodians into Tiga's time and space amid explosions and screams. It's time to finish now. That useless guy has been eliminated. Before you can't move, it's not bad to let you taste the pain first. Especially you, Telega. Just now. Breaking Oxfist. Diavolo just started with the Oxfist, and then used the aftermath of the explosion to approach Saneo and start a close fight. After Diavolo, who was still somewhat powerful, absorbed the power of 6 dark giants, he almost formed a crushing situation against the remaining 3 souls. While fighting, Diavolo said, it's really good. This dark power is really good. Thanks to their dark energy, the power is flowing out continuously. Telega rolled to avoid Diavolo's fist, and the one he dealt with for the first time compared to Diablo. The current Diavolo is so much stronger. I want to make everyone smile. I will never fall here. Telega punched Diavolo on the breastplate, but Diavolo did not move at all. If you have time to talk nice here, why not hurt me first? Looking at Saneo who was defeated, Diavolo felt particularly happy. Cut the light wheel. Zestim head dart. Senior Zeta, Libert. Telega watched in shock as Zeta and Libert appeared in the time and space gap. Special, and little Taurus was also a little surprised. You can actually find this crack in time and space. It's quite capable. Zeta let out a devilish laugh and said, what a pity for Ultra. I was really good at hide and seek when I was a child. It must have followed the waves of darkness. Little Taurus mercilessly exposed Zeta's moment of confidence. 10 minutes ago, the Austrians were patrolling the Earth in groups, and Zeta and Yeo who suddenly realized something, and took Libet to find the Nastis. Chapter 972, The Beast from the Eastern Hell. Mirulu, Shoto and Yuna are here too. Haruki? You are, Libet. Libet and Haruki are old acquaintances of the group. Not counting this time, Haruki and Zeta have been to Trigger's Earth twice. The first time was because of the Barossa Star and King Joe, and the second time was because of Cerebro. The time Libet came, he and Shining Trigger killed Diablo together. When they saw Haruki and Libet, the 3 of them felt like they had seen a savior. After all, Kengo is a human, but from a biological point of view, he is closer to Ultraman. It was also thanks to Kengo's mother being a senior scientist at TPU, and Guango traveling from the world of Tigger. For example, when Kengo was a child, he was exposed on the spot during a physical examination. After analyzing the time and symptoms of Kengo and Ignis coma, Libet said, their 2 souls were taken away from their bodies for unknown reasons, and we detected dark fluctuations in the Kingdom of Light. It seems that this is the reason. I found it. I found the fluctuation. The obstacle rushed into the infirmary. Although he was a little confused when he saw the arrival of Haruki and Libet, he still showed them, look, I followed Kengo's soul fluctuations all the way, and finally found this place. This is a layer of time and space distortion. Kengo and Igna's souls are likely to have been sucked in here. The obstacle said, due to the distortion of time and space, our energy cannot open that door. Leave it to me. Yuming took something off Kengo's belt and held it in his hand. Although the Nastis is still under maintenance, most of its functions can be used. Let's do it again, just like before. Great. Then let us go to that space to rescue Kengo. Yes. Haruki and Zeta were about to leave when they were stopped by the barrier. You can't go in like this. The time-space characteristics of the added layer prevent most substances from entering. Once forced into it, it will only cause the collapse of the entire space. So that's how it is. Is this why the other party attacked Kengo's soul? Yuming looked at Kengo, who was lying on the bed, and looked like he was asleep, and silently clenched the object in his hand. The flesh can't go there, but the other party can take Kengo's soul away, which means that our souls can enter that space. Libet said to the barrier, in that case, just send the soul. Send my soul in. Only send the soul. It was a plain sentence, but everyone felt a fearless courage in it. The video continues. Libut. Don't worry. Libet said in his human form, I'm a member of the Galaxy Rescue Team. Saving lives is my responsibility and obligation. I have been active in the form of a soul. I have experienced this when I was 7 or 8 years old as a human. And us, Libet. Zeta is no longer pretending. A direct voice came out of the Zeta sublimator. Haruki and I will go together. Yes, we will go together. Then I will go too. Seeing that the disabled person also wanted to catch up, Yuming stopped him. Disabled person, I know you are worried about Kengo, but I need you to help me adjust the energy. And the situation there is unclear. If it is a trap, yes, disabled person. Haruki grabbed disabled person's shoulders and said, don't worry. We will definitely bring Kengo and Ignis back intact. No way to race. Disabled person took a deep breath to calm himself down, and then immediately went to make preparations. Half an hour later, the transmission started with the Nastis as the carrier of energy transfer, and the will of Jiming as the guide. Hikaru looked at the barrier with a strange light in his eyes. He felt that, if there was a chance, the child would be his destined human body. The video continued. It must have come here with the fluctuation of the soul or the fluctuation of darkness. The little golden ball directly punctured Zeta's self-confidence. After being punctured, Zeta, the honest child, answered honestly, yes, it is like this. Could it be that you deliberately lured us here? Unlike the silly Zeta, the experienced Libet immediately realized that this might be the other party's conspiracy. The more troublesome guys we can eliminate, the better. The little golden bull was extremely arrogant, not caring at all that he was outnumbered 5 at once. By the way, the exits of this space are all sealed by powerful darkness. It's too late for you to escape now. Hey, come out and play with them. Lava erupted on the dark earth, and the evil beast in hell broke free from the shackles and cage that sealed it, and came to the world. That's the jungle like needles on its back, the right hand like a mace, and the tail like a saw. The eastern evil beast from hell, Yanmam and Sigogo. Cold knowledge, Sigogo's suit was later changed to the evil wish beast Black Scorpion in Ultraman Rob theatrical version. Decision. Crystal of Bonds. And the other one is Hyper Zeton. Well, it turns out that Zeton has no dignity now, and it is impossible for him to bring any sense of oppression. Trigger and Dark Trigger teamed up to deal with Diablo. Tigger and Libet confronted the Yanma beast Seigoku whom they met for the first time, and Zeta went to deal with Hyper Zeton. Even if he couldn't beat Zeta, he could still hold on for more than 10 minutes. Outside world, the place where Zeta and Libet entered the space-time layer was chosen to be the ruins of the Eternal Core ruins. Considering that the body would enter a vegetative coma after the soul left the body, Libet decided to enter the space-time layer as Ultraman to prevent accidents. Looking at the two huge bodies falling, Yumi and Shoto could only pray for them. Just then, two figures flew down. Zeta, Libet, X and Taiga flew to the ground. Taiga, Ace and the first generation who also came on Earth gathered together and looked at Taiga on the screen. Although more than 10 years have passed since the story of Ultra Galaxy, Ace and the first generation still recognized each other at a glance as the grown-up Taiga. Yes, Zeta has become a mature and qualified member of the Space Guard. In the same timeline, Tega must have also joined the Space Guard and become a qualified warrior. What a pity, we are not in the Kingdom of Light now, otherwise we would definitely let the Captain and Taro take a good look at it. The new book is on the shelves. Chapter 973, is X an artificial intelligence? Yes, but the Earth is getting more and more dangerous now. The first generation sighed and couldn't help but sigh at what kind of life Mebius had on Earth. Before he and Ace came, Mebius was like Nexus, fighting at least 3 battles a day, one each in the morning, noon, and evening, and sometimes he had to work overtime at night. Moreover, not only in Japan, but also in various parts of the world, monsters began to appear in large numbers. Fortunately, most of these monsters were not very strong, and it was not a problem for Guy's branches in various places to use meteor technology to annihilate them, but some of them were too strong. The robot that appeared a few days ago and claimed to be Satan Delos was taken to space by him and Ace to find an asteroid belt. They bombarded the opponent with rays for half an hour and finally exhausted the opponent's energy before defeating him. The first generation still shuddered when he recalled the process of destroying Satan Delos. He had never shot a spacium ray for so long in his life. And that Hilbegan, the first generation, was always full of fighting spirit. When he thought of the battle with Hilbegan, he had been fighting monsters for at least 15,000 years. This was the first time he encountered such a stubborn monster like Silbegan. He and Silbegan were evenly matched. They brought Silbegan to the moon, and the first generation fought with it for 3 hours and finally killed it. Ace stood up suddenly. Where did the monster appear again? No, this sound is a super beast. Ace looked in a direction. A brew. The video continues. In other words, only the soul can enter that time and space layer? But if there is a problem with the soul, the body. X and Tega were a little anxious. This situation is unheard of. At this time, other Ultramen who came to help also began to fly here one after another. Hey, Zeta, Libert. Zero saw Zeta and Libert lying on the ground motionless from a high altitude. When he saw that Zeta was lying there and almost dead, he immediately became anxious and flew directly to Zeta's side with a speed rush. What happened? Zero was so anxious, so anxious. Zero squatted beside Zeta and grabbed Zeta's hand. He kept shaking Zeta. Zero, with true feelings, spoke out his true thoughts. Stupid Zeta, I still have a lot of skills that I haven't taught you. I still have a lot of things I haven't told you. I haven't officially accepted you as my apprentice yet. Zero, calm down, Zero. Their souls have entered that extra layer of time and space. They're all fine. Zero was silent for a moment and asked, that means they're all still alive and well, right? Yes, cousin. Tega nodded. Zeta, you bastard. I'll beat you to death. And percent. Cousin, calm down. When Zero realized that he had lost his temper because of Zeta, he began to think about how to make up for it. In the end, he thought that he should beat Zeta up first to show that he didn't care about Zeta's attitude. Zero, you'd better stop it first. Senior Gaios? Unable to bear it, Gaios came out to let Zero calm down a little, but unexpectedly met his own fans. It's an honor to meet you. X said seriously, I respect you from the bottom of my heart for truly coexisting with monsters. Tega, stop chatting, both of you, help me pull my cousin. Don't talk about respect, I'm just chasing my dream. Tega, Senior Diner, don't make a fuss. Put them down. By the way, what's the situation inside? I don't know, but the darkness is expanding. X made a simple observation of the energy fluctuations inside through the data C, and the situation inside was not optimistic. Tega, JPG Tigger and Trigger are still inside. Let's rush in too. Dinah came over and suggested, his serious look completely betrayed that he and Zero had just put Zeta and Libet in a combined heart gesture. Hey. The obstacle suddenly sent a message to a group of Ultramen using the broadcasting system on Monastis. I have received a message from the time and space gap. I will broadcast it to you now. I am Ignis. Don't come. Conspiracy. Absolute. Trap. Disobedient. Zeta. Damn it. Zero got anxious again when he heard it, and that kind of thing just now must not happen again. I'll go in. The perigee shield can protect my soul and help me fight. You wait here for me. Zero pointed to the perigee shield on his wrist. As a divine weapon given by Noah, Zero in soul state can also use the power of the perigee shield. Wait a minute. I want to go too. Seeing that Dinah was about to follow in, Gaoc stopped the anxious duo and said, since the perigee shield can be taken in, why don't the three of us go in? Taker, I'll trouble you, and X to take care of our bodies. Take me with you too. I can turn into data, which has some special uses in places like time and space gaps. Don't worry, X, we have a trick. Everyone, let's go. Turn into data? Tony became interested. Could it be that X is an artificial Aogang? Bruce followed Tony's idea and expanded on it. You mean X is an artificial intelligence that has gained a body? No, Aogang intelligence? This brain-opening idea instantly triggered a discussion among the audience. There is indeed an artificial intelligence Jarvis here, and it is an artificial intelligence that Janitor personally commented on as being like a life. So, can the Kingdom of Light, with more powerful technology, really create a perfect artificial intelligence? Or, is X an experimental subject of the Kingdom of Light? Artificial intelligence does have a prototype application in the Kingdom of Light, and many smart devices are set up with the help of artificial intelligence. As a technology expert in the Kingdom of Light, Hikari naturally has some insights on this. However, there are too many examples of civilizations where artificial intelligence strikes back at the creator, or because artificial intelligence is too convenient, causing the entire race to slack off, and finally being ruined by artificial intelligence. Therefore, the attitude of the Kingdom of Light towards artificial intelligence is to promote it, but it is not recommended to develop it in the direction of fighting and babysitting. Chapter 974, Sun, Smile. So in the Kingdom of Light, artificial intelligence is generally used for scientific research and basic auxiliary work. I see. Bruce nodded. I have noticed that many places in the Kingdom of Light are similar to those on Earth, both in culture and lifestyle. The culture is because you looked almost exactly like humans on Earth before you evolved, and your social form is much better than that of Earth. Bruce couldn't help but sound a little frustrated when he said this. In terms of social environment, the Kingdom of Light is more than 100,000 times better than Earth. If artificial intelligence develops on a large scale, there will indeed be a world where almost all physical activities and even any social survival activities will be done by artificial intelligence, and the creators only need to enjoy. But such a world, Tony said the second half of Peter's sentence, it's useless. A world where everything has to be done by artificial intelligence, and all that is needed is to enjoy, is a paradise in hell for this race. Even if artificial intelligence is developing, it can never replace all human work. That's true, but didn't you become the ultimate artificial intelligence in Venom's final chapter, and became a character that was almost a creator god? That wasn't me. Tony's face darkened. If it weren't for the screening room, he would never have known that in the multiverse, he actually had such a powerful person, so powerful that even the Celestials, who were in a superior subordinate relationship with Ganita's father, Galactus, were captured by him and transformed into mechanical bodies. He was so powerful that he could be called a creator god and could play with the universe in the palm of his hand. If you have this opportunity, what would you do? Never. Tony snorted coldly. If you don't even become a human being and become a string of cold data, what's the point of living like this? Hikaru's imagination was also broadened. His current research direction is very complicated, and he has been tinkering with mental built-in devices recently. So, I didn't create X, did I? At this moment, Hikaru looked at X and slowly added an emotion called the concern of an old father. The video continues. In the gap between time and space, Dark Trigger brought Jianwu and Yeohu to a safe place. I'm sorry, I just can't use my strength anymore. It's okay. Ignis put Kango and Haruki down. You two stay here and have a good rest. I'll go help Tigger and Libet who are left behind. Ignis, be careful. Don't worry, we've overcome so many extreme crises, and we'll be fine this time. Looking at Kango with a frown, Ignis said before leaving, what's that expression on your face? Kengo, smell us, right? Yeah. Kengo forced a smile and watched Ignis leave. Sure enough, being an Ultraman is still very hard. Kengo sat down next to Hiruki, and Hiruki talked to Kengo about the topic they had talked about before. At that time, Kengo had just become an Ultraman not long ago, and he was full of doubts, and could only fight alone, while looking for answers. In addition to his mother, the only people who knew his identity were Guango and the disabled person. The disabled person was dead and the arrogant Guango was not online, and his mother was on Mars. Kengo had to hold back his doubts in his heart. Until the sky suddenly twisted. Bruton sent him King Joe, as well as Osman and his special space machine Z. Indeed. However, experiencing pain and sadness is also a very important part. Jian Wu showed his accomplishment as a botanist at this moment. If you want the flowers to bloom beautifully, there must be rainy days. So if you shed a lot of tears and sweat, you will definitely be able to bloom beautiful flowers. It's a great idea. Well, but the sunshine is more important than rainy days. Jian Wu's smile bloomed when he said this. The sun, that is, smiles, so I will definitely make people all over the world smile. Me too. Yaohu took a deep breath. He was once confused because of the battle. Finally, with the help of Bruton, he successfully met his father and was finally enlightened and solved the doubts in his heart. The lives that can be saved must be saved, step by step, approaching my father, and never give up. Looking at the puzzled Kanata, Peter told her the story about Zeta that they saw at the end of the 5th live broadcast. The video continues. At this time, on the front battlefield, the three Ogs fought hard against the enemy, led by the little golden bull, but they were obviously at a disadvantage. Tigger and Libet suffered from the terrain. The Dark Trigger transformed by Ignis was not affected by the terrain, but he was weak. Ignis can be said to be in the best condition among the group of people. The power of Dark Trigger prevented him from being weakened too much by the spatial factors here, but Ignis was also the weakest one, because he used a small part of the original Dark Trigger that was left out after Trigger purified the dark part. There were 3 people like this, and 2 of them fought for a long time. When he faced the ultimate life form Diablo who was in full condition, and absorbed the power of 6 dark giants, the Yama beast Seigoku from hell, and the evil god of destruction Hyperzeton, it was not easy for him to hold on until now in this almost devastating situation. It's painful, right? The voice of the little golden bull echoed in the dark space. In this space full of dark fluctuations, your activity time will be severely restricted. Damn coward. Ignis, who was in the best condition, was responsible for confronting the little golden bull. Facing this scum who took advantage of the situation, Ignis did not give him any face. You are a guy who can't fight without despicable means. You did the same thing last time, relying on the fact that Jian Wu had just fought a fight this morning and couldn't control the power of shining to force a fight. Haha, I'm so happy. In the end, you were beaten to death by Trigger and Libet who mastered the power of shining. Last time. Shining? In other words, Diablo has been to Trigger's world once. It can be seen from the fact that Trigger directly called out Diablo's name before. Then how did they get there? And there are more than just Taurus among the absolutions. Tony pondered. First of all, among the absolutions who have appeared so far are Tartarus and Diablo, but every time they take action, it seems that they don't have enough manpower and can only send out one combat force. It's impossible that the absolutions also have a space guard team running field missions all over the universe, right? Chapter 975, Ultraman Saga, the Warrior of Hope and Miracles. From Tartarus's plan to recruit troops everywhere, the high-end combat power of the Absolute clan should not be as good as that of the Kingdom of Light. Hikaru said, at least the little golden man is definitely not a match for the Ultra brothers, and we still have the captain. Thanos. Tartarus should want to use the strong men summoned from all over to consume the power of the Kingdom of Light. At the very least, he wants to use the Ultra Brothers battle against the Gua Brothers to consume your power, and then sneak attack to end it. Logan, but the other party must have some restrictions, otherwise he will definitely summon the enemies of your Kingdom of Light continuously, and he can also kill you by consuming them. If the opponent has no restrictions, there is no need to look for other enemies who have old grudges with the Kingdom of Light. Tartarus can theoretically summon countless of himself to defeat the Kingdom of Light. No. Bruce suddenly thought of something. No matter what, the Kingdom of Light will probably not be occupied by the Absolute Clan. After all, you have the King of Ultra. The video continues. Don't get it wrong. I just think it's hard to deal with too many people, so I implemented this skill. The little golden bull, who was exposed by Ignis, activated the skill, forced to save face, but the effect was not very good. It should have been a head-on confrontation, but you are not qualified. Diablo walked to a suitable position, raised his arms horizontally in front of his chest, and shouted, "The secret of the universe fantasy beast fist hard force breaking bull fist." The red fantasy beast tattoo is shining, and the golden bull head mark rushed towards the 3AO, instantly blowing them away. Okay, it's almost time to destroy this space. The figure of the little golden bull disappeared, and at this time, the sound of collapse gradually sounded. Oh no, the space is breaking. And the 3AOs have to face not only the breaking of space, but also the two terrifying enemies in front of them. Sigoku is a typical pentagonal warrior, with everything except speed maximum doubt. Tiga knows how strong this thing is. And Hyperzeton, I don't know which version of Hyperzeton it is. If it is the strongest one, Sigoku raised the mace in his hand and smashed it hard at Tiga. The terrifying strange power abruptly set off a space ripple in this unstable space. At the critical moment, the real protagonist appeared. Zero kicked Sigoku away, and Dinah hurried to Tiga to help his eldest brother up. Zero, Dinah, Cosmos. You shouldn't have come. The space here is about to collapse, and the exits are all sealed. Hearing what Libert said, Zero wiped his nose and said, he wants to trap us 20,000 years too early. Where are Zeta and Hiruki? I sent them to a safe place temporarily. When Zero heard that Zeta was fine, he pretended to be indifferent. We have to trouble you to make another trip. Even with Hiruki, he is still a half-baked 1/3 of the way here. Next time, I will just accept Hiruki as my apprentice. Don't worry, everyone. Cosmos said, we will be fine. Yes, we have a trump card. Dinah looked at Zero and said, let's start. Well, let's get started. The three Ultramen synchronized and took the same posture. The cyan, golden blue tornado soared into the sky, and in the dazzling light, a sacred figure appeared. Saga, Ultraman Saga. The mysterious warrior who appeared in the holy light. Ultraman Tiga. Ace, could it be that this is a reason why the captain asked Ultraman Zero to go out to find help? Ace, this Ultraman Tiga actually gave me a feeling of legend. Arceus, if it were just the two I saw, Legend and Tiga would be on par in terms of energy level, but Legend is higher than Tiga in terms of rank. Arceus, there is a powerful power in Chaos, a power hidden in the world, and there is a power that transcends time and space on Zero's bracelet. With these two powers as the basis, the fusion of the three Ultramen will not be weaker than Legend fused by Chaos and Justice. Ace didn't expect that his guess was correct. He just went to deal with the super beast and turned around to see the appearance of Tiga. The video continues. Everyone, I will take all the beings in this space out, so after we go out, we will meet the enemy. In the outside world, we will start the final decisive battle. The three-color sacred tornado bloomed in the entire space, and the time gap that was about to collapse was directly shattered. All the beings in it were brought into the real time and space by Seeker. This wave, they are coming back. The enemy is coming. X said to the people around him, everyone, enter the combat state. Yes. Several streams of light returned to their original bodies, and then the three bodies belonging to Zero and the other three also erupted with three-color tornadoes, and Seeker appeared. The inner space of the Zeta Sublimator. Hiruki, you also heard Master Zero's voice. Yes. Zeta, let's go. Okay. Hiruki took out three metals to search, and under the effect of the special bond, the three metals resonated with each other. Devour the darkness golden storm. Hiruki, master with a villain's face. Zeta Riser, infinite Zero. Hiruki, senior with a villain's face. Zeta Riser, Z. Hiruki, it's the villain's senior father. Zeta Riser, evil Belia. Zeta Ultraman Delta Skyclaw. It's coming. Hikari lowered his head and covered it. Although he knew that the equipment had nothing to do with him, Hikari couldn't help laughing when he thought of the other party's appearance. All the AO and the villains returned to reality one after another. When X saw one of the opponents, he was shocked. Sega. Everyone. The opponent appeared here directly in the form of a soul. Sega and Hyper Zetan without a body do not have their original power. Sega's voice reached everyone's ears. We have consumed too much energy. Hyper Zetan's soul is in our hands. Be careful of Diablo. Maximum and Ultraman have been held back by monsters that appeared elsewhere. Now we are the only ones here. Libert received news from the communication channel that others were also in a tough battle. At this time, a voice sounded. There are still us. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.